podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the Premier Networks on Saturday, June 4th, 2022. This is episode 1899. Enjoy. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by userway.org. Userway is the world's #1 accessibility solution, and it's committed to enabling the fundamental human right of digital accessibility for everyone. When you're ready to make your site compliant, deciding which solution to use is an easy choice to make. Go to userway.org/twit for 30% off Userway's AI-powered accessibility solution. And by Melissa. Poor data quality can cost organizations an average of $15 million a year. Make sure your customer contact data is up to date. Get started today with 1,000 records cleaned for free at melissa.com/twit. And by Acronis. Keep your digital world safe from all threats with the only cyber protection solution that delivers a unique integration of data protection and cybersecurity in one. Acronis Cyber Protect Home Office, formerly Acronis True Image. Go to go.acronis.com/techguy. Well, hey, how are you today? Looky here, it's Micah Sargent.
Hi.
And Leo Laporte, your tech guys. You got two of them today on the radio. Talking tech, answering your questions at 8888 Ask Leo. What is tech?
Tech is all things with microchips. Is that what we... Oh, but the internet doesn't have a microchip.
Yeah, I know. You know what? It was a lousy definition when I came up with it.
Your Honor.
Remember, I've been doing this since 1992. So we didn't even... I mean, the internet was just a twinkle.
That was a special year for me.
92? Was that the year you were born?
It may very well have been the year I was born.
Oh, I just got very depressed. So that means I have cell phones older than you. No, I don't. I don't actually. Older than you. But the radio show is as old as you. And back then there was an internet, but no one, you couldn't access it. So we didn't really talk about that so much. It really was stuff with chips in it. But now it's not. Now it's. I mean, the internet requires chips. It's not just some puffy cloud in the sky.
Although some people like to think so. The cloud. But
they call it that.
Servers and wires.
Do you ever wonder why they call it the cloud?
I don't know who came up with that.
Do you have a theory? I know, but
oh, you do?
I don't know who came up with it, but I could tell you what it means. It's because when you're drawing a circuit diagram, usually you know everything. You got lines, wires, transistors, diodes, all of those symbols, right? But then it goes out the door and into some unknown, and then it comes out of the unknown back into the circuit diagrams. So on the circuit diagrams, they represented that internet, that unknown. Actually, it could be also the network as a cloud because we don't know. You could have made it.
So it could have been the fog, the mist.
Could have been a lot of things, just unknown.
Okay. The cotton candy.
The here be monsters kind of kind of a thing. So I'm pretty sure that's where the idea came from. Who made that up? I don't know. Probably some guy who was designing these little things.
The internet with a quick glimpse. Oh, no, that's cloud computing was Eric Schmidt. So that's different.
Oh, Eric Schmidt, CEO of Google at the time.
Yes.
Hey, a couple of things we got to talk about. Day after tomorrow, you and I will gather to watch a YouTube video, presumably live from the Apple campus as Apple kicks off its Worldwide Developers Conference. It's been very interesting over the last few days. I don't know if you've noticed this.
I know exactly where you're going with this because, yes, I feel the exact same way.
You tell me.
I have realized, if we're talking about the same thing, that Apple has actually invited quite a few press people to this
Lots
event.
of people we know. Not you, not me.
Not
you
us.
You didn't get an invite, did you?
I did not get an invite.
Because then I would really feel terrible.
Exactly. We got to get you that tour of the
I already
Steve
feel
Jobs
terrible. That's actually not what I was thinking, but you're right. A lot of press will be there. In fact, they have a whole tour schedule.
Yeah.
And they have 3 tours they have to choose from. There's a tour of the great outdoors. There's a tour of the gym. I don't know why you'd want that. And then there's a tour of something else. I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't recall.
And you have to choose one. And we know this because the journalists are starting to post this itinerary on Twitter. But that was not what I was thinking.
Okay.
What I was thinking is, I don't know if you have noticed this, but I certainly have. And this comes from Apple. Apple subtly puts out the word. They talk to journalists as just off the record, just between you and me. Don't tell anybody you heard it from me. But they've been lowering expectations. Now, that you must have noticed.
Yes.
Because we thought, they're going to announce all this new, we're going to AR
M2,
visor.
Yeah, visors, exactly.
MacBook Air, M2 chip. We thought, and reasonably they would. And I think it's probably due to the supply chain shortage and the 63-day shutdown of Shanghai, which has ended now for COVID. So stuff's getting out. I had a laptop I ordered from Dell back in April. And they said, we don't know when. We'll try to get it to you in June, but we don't know.
Really?
We don't know. Because it was, I'm assuming it was made by a company, probably Quanta, which makes Apple's laptops too, in Shanghai. And nothing was coming or going. Nothing was going in or out. So I think what Dell was saying is, we finished the laptop. It's built. But we don't know. We won't even give you a tracking number until it arrives in the U.S. because we just don't know when it's going to be released from Shanghai. Well, it finally was. Guess when? 2 days ago when the Shanghai lockdown ended. So that laptop's coming today, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Very excited.
To here or to your house?
No, to my house.
That's good.
Anyway, so I think that all of that has really thrown a monkey wrench into the gears. Now, if you've ever had gears and you've thrown a monkey wrench into it, you know.
you would be very aware.
Disaster ensues.
That messes things up.
So I think Apple has then, this past week, there was no announcement from Apple, but I've heard a lot of journalists say, like Mark Gurman, the rumor guy, Renee Ritchie, who is our co-host on Mac Break Weekly, who cannot say anything. He did not say he was invited. He's invited for sure because he's not going to be around next week. Wonder why? He also said, maybe don't get your hopes up too high. He said, I'm not getting my hopes up.
Mark Gurman, though, just 17 hours ago, is back on the MacBook Air train.
Oh, see, the little birds from Apple probably called him and said, we got it.
He said, I think the only way, he said the new MacBook Air has been planned to launch at WWDC. I think the only way it doesn't is if the China factory shutdowns created such a supply and release date gap that it wouldn't make sense to announce it on Monday. So
there's some things to think about in that. Mark is an interesting rumor monger because he works for Bloomberg Business News. And Bloomberg has rules. They have journalistic rules. Mark can say, according to sources who refuse to be named, he can say, I have heard. He also can say, but I think. And when you see I think, that's not based on anything he's heard, according to, the tea leaves. But if he says, I've heard, so I'm going to read that as in the past he had heard that Apple were releasing M2 MacBook Pro, and now or MacBooks Air, I think. But now he's saying I think it's going to depend. I still think that's him saying lower your expectations because it was locked down until 3 days ago.
Yeah, and honestly, this is where I fall on the whole WWDC thing. I get so excited every year for all of the operating system stuff they're going to announce.
Which they will do.
Software features. Yes,
Sure.
They're going to do that. I never count on WWDC as a hardware event. And so this sort of groupthink idea that if they don't announce hardware, it's a flop is... I disagree with that because... No.
It's for developers.
Exactly.
However, about almost exactly 50% of the time, they release hardware at WWDC. The HomePod, 2017, the HomePod, the iMac Pro. If you go back to 2018, nothing. 2019, the Mac Pro, the Pro Display XDR. 2020, M1, the silicon transition. But they didn't announce any products. Last year, nothing. So you go back, and over the years, it's been about 50-50. So I would say no. Don't, and then that way you'll be pleasantly surprised.
I fall on the side of no hardware, and that's okay because I cannot wait to see what they release in terms of home stuff. The
reason I bring it up is for the last month I've been telling people, wait, don't buy any Apple stuff until after June 6th.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Because
we kind of have to go.
Well, I would still. I mean, you can wait a couple of days, right? But I would wait but it may not make any difference, and you may want to run to the store and buy something Monday afternoon.
Yeah, although
if you've been waiting.
If they still haven't gotten all of the supply that they need to hold up the current amount, so you might want to wait anyway until they've got more Macs for you to actually purchase.
What may happen is they say we're going to be doing a MacBook Air M2. It's going to be available for pre-order in August, shipping in September. The reason they might not want to do that is because they're still selling the M1 MacBook Air. They don't want to cut sales off. Very big news in the world. You would think with something like 24 states considering right to repair bills, laws that would make it your legal right to get instructions and parts for the stuff you own, whether it's a car, a tractor, or a laptop or a phone. You would think with 24 states looking at that for the last 2 years that somebody would have passed a law. No, the first right to repair law has finally passed in New York State. It's the very, very first one. Governor Hochul, says she will sign it. This is huge. Our friends at iFixit call it one giant leap for repair kind. Kyle Wiens, who is their CEO and founder, and we love this guy because he's really been fighting. In fact, he started righttorepair.org because they sell parts, they sell, they call themselves the repair manual for the internet. They have all these free repair guides. He said the passage of this bill means that repairs should become less expensive and more comprehensive. People who want to fix their own stuff can. Whereas before, manufacturers could push consumers to use manufacturers' authorized shops. Now they'll have to compete. Of course, you had a different experience.
This is a little upsetting for me. We wanted to do a repair of an iPhone, or in this case, it was a battery replacement, just to give Apple's new self-service repair program a try. And it was an absolute nightmare because the company that Apple uses is called Spot, that they've hired to do the whole process. So you work with Spot directly. They're the ones who ship out the tools and the parts. And so you go to the company and you say, hey, I want to rent these tools.
And by the way, they come in two giant cases.
Huge Pelican cases.
They're 76 pounds?
Yeah, 76 pounds of tools. And they cost like $1,100 total, but you can rent them for a week. And
for $49.
$49 for a week. And one would think that if once you have everything, then the countdown starts. But if you get the tools before you get the part, then the countdown starts from the time that the tools arrive on your doorstep. That meant that because it took longer for UPS to ship a battery, as Andy Anatko pointed out on MacBreak Weekly, I think this is why, because a battery has to ship via ground, it can't go in a plane. That took so much longer that there was literally 2 hours of a window to be able to do the full repair before they had to go back.
You called Spot and said, hey, can I have it for an extra day because the battery's not here yet? And they said?
And they said no. They said, in fact, this is how I know. They said, there is a problem with our policy. That means that other people had called and had the same issue, and they are acknowledging the fact that their policy needs to change. So the person on the phone is acknowledging. I doubt, further up the line that's how they feel.
This could be something Apple, didn't know and will fix.
Will hopefully fix.
I think the whole process of renting this equipment, getting it shipped, the whole thing, is their way of saying, well, this is what it's going to take if you really insist.
Yeah, if you really want to do this, then this is how it's going to have to be.
Do you save money doing this?
No! I would have saved money if I went to iFixit and got the entire thing from there, in fact.
And if you wanted Apple to do it, it would cost roughly the same.
Yes, that's also true, yes.
Instead of having to get all this stuff.
Apple Care on your device, then it's even less. It costs even less.
So it's my opinion this is intentional, that Apple just doesn't want. But this is how people watch, because now that the right to repair will soon be the law in New York State, I think companies are going to all do this. They're going to say, oh, good thinking, Apple.
Yeah, exactly.
Good thinking.
We've got this all figured out.
8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number if you want to talk to me and Michael and ask questions or talk about tech. We're here to do it. 888-827-5536. The Tech Guy 2 coming up. Yes, so I had a very nice call with Scott's wife.
Yeah.
And we're going to meet again in a month. But she told me a lot of useful stuff. In fact, I brought my Biotene Dry Mouth Moisturizing Spray.
What does it have in it?
Glycerin.
Oh, okay.
So what it does, it coats your mouth and stuff and keeps it moist. And there's some xylitol, which she says...
That's what I was wondering, if there's xylitol to help because that makes your salivary glands activate.
Yeah, so there's xylitol and glycerin. Yeah, I can feel it.
You can also, I don't know if she suggested this, at night they have these xylitol tablets that have this kind of, it's like glue, it's like a starch-based glue, and it sticks to your tooth. And so while you're asleep, your mouth is automatically producing saliva, and it helps keep things moist while you're asleep.
That's disgusting.
Well, no, it's better because that's the problem.
I don't have particularly dry mouth.
That's good.
I have a very moist mouth. In fact, I drool. So.
Oh, well, then you're good.
I don't think I have to worry. She had me do all sorts of things like scales with my head. Different things, my head tilted and stuff.
I might have to.
It was good. You should do it because you're a singer.
And it's, well, not really, but what I used to do vocal training, and I have not in such a long time.
Yeah.
I'll have to reach out
Scott's
to
in the chat room.
Scott about that.
Is he going to be on today?
Yes. So,
he's just in the chat.
I think it's a couple of weeks from now.
So oh yeah, we got to do the second segment first. Yeah, she didn't give me any vocal exercises, but I sent her some YouTube videos that I've been using, and she said, those are fine. Just be careful you don't go too high out of your range or too low out of your range.
Was she determining your range in that first call?
She did.
Oh, that's so fun. I need to, I should reach out.
It was fun.
She's got room.
Oh, she does. And you don't have to do many sessions. You do a single session to consult. So I did Mother Made Me Match My M&Ms. Mother made me match my Mama made me match my M&Ms. Mama made me match my M&Ms. And mama, 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 and up the scales and down the scales.
Like
and then and then what else? Yeah, that's all. And then she has me read copy. So I do that for 5 minutes to get loosened up. But the thing, I'm not training to sing, I'm training to talk.
Right.
So she said, okay. The thing that was most valuable to me is as you get old, you relax and and you go back down into your chest. You know how they're always saying stay out of your throat, produce from your diaphragm and chest? She said that's fine when you're young. Professionals are trained that way. She said, but when you get old, it's very difficult for them to remember. That's when you're slumped, you're down.
Interesting.
Here. And as you get older, you want to bring it back up into your throat and bring some energy back into your voice. So that's what I have been doing, because people say, I've even gotten emails from people say, at the end of your sentences, you just drop off and I can't understand what you're saying. And that's because I'm old and tired.
Interesting.
So, and I always thought, oh no, that's good. My voice sounds deep.
Yeah.
But that's not
deep and
really.
Rich, but it's not good for your voice then?
No, yeah. So you want to, ha, 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 ha. So anyway, I do that. She says do that after you work out, though, because you want to get your whole body going, your blood flow going, and then you do the vocal stuff, and then you read the copy. Yeah, you got to work out.
Dang it.
La 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 la.
I need someone to tell me to work out, so that's actually good.
Well, the other thing I'm doing, I'll tell you about this later.
Okay.
Because we're coming back.
Oh.
But now I think I want to sing. It'd be fun to sing.
Yes.
Actually, I got in trouble for calling someone baby the other day, so I'm not going to call you baby. I'm just going to say, hello, Kim Schaffer.
I'd like to hear that story.
Tell me more.
Yeah. Hello, Kim Schaffer, phone angel.
How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good.
How you doing?
Good.
So we went to the movies yesterday.
Well, 2 days.
Kim and I had a date 2 days ago.
2 days.
With me there.
With
it was
13 other people.
Sort of, yeah.
So John, our studio manager, found out that you can rent a whole theater for like $200.
It's a good deal if you can get enough people in
he
there.
rented a theater and took all of us to the movies.
Very nice.
Which was great because I haven't been to a movie in 2 years, since February 2020. So it was... And had you been to a movie?
No,
since
I
then?
haven't, and I can't even remember what the last movie I
can't
saw
either.
in a theater. But
Right.
it probably
Can't
was
either.
in 2019, to be
Probably.
honest with you. I don't
Right.
even think I saw one in
I think it might have been
2020.
longer for me.
Yeah.
So we all went to see Doctor Strange and the Temple of Doom, and it was so exciting.
There's a lot going on. That's for sure.
There was that-
Actually, you know what's funny? Maybe it's because I haven't been to a movie in 2 years. I really enjoyed it.
The CG was pretty amazing.
I'm not a fan of Marvel comic universe at all.
Neither am I.
I'm a Batman guy.
I loved Deadpool.
Deadpool was funny.
That was funny. but
Filthy.
that's filthy and funny. That's
but
probably
funny.
why I liked it.
But I thought this was quite enjoyable.
Yeah.
And I like Benedict Cumberbatch. I think he's really talented.
If you watch
piece
the
of-
credits at
Except
the
his
end,
act-
the Chinese guy's name was also Benedict. Like,
Benedict
how
Wong.
odd is
Benedict
that?
Benedict and
Wong, and he
Benedict.
That
plays
there's
a
two
character named
Benedicts in
Wong.
one movie.
Yeah.
He
by
does
the
a
way,
bad American accent, though. I have
Benedict.
to say.
Oh, Cumberbatch.
Yeah, Cumberbatch's
That's
American
what ruined
accent's
the power of the dog for me. It was like, you are not a cowboy, sir. I'm sorry. It's like we didn't see each other for years here. Let's not pay attention to ourselves, but to our lovely audience. Who should we address
Let's
first?
go to Jake in Pequot, Ohio.
Pequot,
Ohio.
Ohio. Thank you, Kim. Hello, Jake and Pequot.
Good morning.
Good morning.
New listener. First time I called. What luck.
Wow.
I'm not really a.
There's
technical
people who've been listening for 20 years who are really mad at you right now because they can never get in.
Oh, he got in. Darn it.
Good job.
I only had to call 12 times, but
Oh, well, he worked. You earned it. So what can we do for you?
all right. I got my old home computer. It's an old office computer. It's a Dell Optiplex 990, and piece by piece updating it to gaming. But I was following your advice for keeping it up to date, and it doesn't want to. And I'm not sure what on it is holding it back, what the lowest common denominator is to get it into the 21st century.
You're on Windows 10, I take it.
Yep. It's on 10, but there's another update to another version of 10, apparently.
It won't do 11, probably, because there's a couple of things that Microsoft, just arbitrarily, by the way, there's no technical requirement, arbitrarily said you have to have an 8th generation processor from Intel. So does your Intel processor, your i7 Dash, does it begin with an 8?
2600.
Okay. But what's the before that? i8.
Intel Core i7-2600.
Okay, there should be anyway. I don't think that's. Look it up if you would, because I don't think that's 8th generation. But that would keep you from 8. The other thing that keep you from 8, the Dell might not have TPM 2.0. In any event, you don't want to go to Windows 11 anyway. That doesn't matter. Windows 10 is good through 2025. And for gaming, you probably want to. Well, there's some advantages to 11. Are you getting a special gaming card for it?
The one I got in there now is a Gigabyte GeForce.
That's the mother.
1660.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's fine. So you have that's a 2nd generation Intel, so it's pretty old. So yeah, you should be able though to continue to update Windows 10 and keep it secure. That's the main reason.
Sandy Bridge.
Yeah, through 2025, and that's what I'd do. Leo Laporte, Micah Sargent, the tech guys. So hold on, because we have to take a government mandated break. But you are still on the radio or on the air on the podcast. So yeah, 2600 is 2nd generation. Wow, wow. So that's why you'll never put Windows 11 on it. Actually, you could technically. There are ways to get around that. I wouldn't bother. Is that what you care about? Is getting to Windows 11?
Yeah, just sticking with. I've lived under a rock for 20 years, so.
Yeah, I mean, if that's what you're worried about,
podcast and
you do want. So the thing to look at is to find. So hit the Windows key, and see what what do you type about? I can't remember. And then
I'm reading all this off of.
Yeah, and then it'll say what version of Windows. Tell me what version of Windows you have.
All it says is Windows 10 Pro.
It doesn't give you a number or anything? I'm just curious what update you have. You want to be 21H2.
That's the one pending. That's the update that it's suggesting, but it won't allow it.
It won't allow 21H2. Okay, that's key because that means
does not meet minimum system requirements.
Yeah, that's an age thing. You're cool on, so that means you probably have, I don't know what you have. You might 1909, is that what it says? I think you probably have 1909,
Okay.
which is going to be okay. The end of life on Windows 10 1909 was about a month ago. Whoops. Holy moly.
That's about right.
Okay, so you've been getting warnings saying you need to update.
I've been ignoring all those. I just went on after last podcast to see if I could update.
Okay, that's the problem.
I can't.
Yeah. Because 1909 is September 2019. And then after that, there would be is there 2004? Yeah. You could maybe get to 2004.
Mm-hmm.
If you can get to 2004, that would be good. Or 2009, what do they call the 2000? This fall 2000. Get as far as you can, but it sounds like for some reason.
Yeah, it only offers 21H2, but it.
And that's the only one it's offering, and you can't go to that because that's I'm puzzled now. I don't know. I guess it really is pretty old. It's a 10-year-old machine.
Okay, so new processor and try again.
Yeah, the problem is at this point, when you get a new processor, you're going to have to get a new motherboard. And at this point, you're only keeping the case.
Yeah, the cost of it.
So at this point, it'd probably be cheaper and better to buy all new. I mean, you could keep the case, I guess. Try update. I want you to update. You might be able to update if you got a clean install of Windows. Not to you probably, I'll have to look and see what the restrictions are on 21H2. But be my guess that that's because of the age. Let me see what the requirements are.
Sorry. 21H1 is what I'm on.
Oh, well, then you're golden. Stay with it. Stay with it.
Okay.
You're golden. That's going to be good for another couple of years. You're good.
Okay.
Just do those when they get critical updates, the security patches, you want those.
Righto.
But other than that, okay. Hey, thanks for the call. It's good to talk to you. Glad you got in, Jake. Keep righto. Thanks. Bye.
Righto.
Bye. So that one, the end of life on 21H1 is December.
This December?
Yeah, it's kind of annoying. I'm mad at Microsoft. This episode of The Tech Guy brought to you by userway.org. Userway.org. I'm talking about making your website ADA compliant, accessible. Not only is it the right thing to do, because you're opening up your website to a much larger group, 60 million plus people, you have a responsibility to make your site accessible. It's a public entity, so you got to make it accessible. And with Userway, it's easy. That was my biggest concern was, I can't afford it or it's going to be too hard. No, Userway is really affordable and it's really easy. It's AI powered. It tirelessly enforces all the accessibility guidelines, the WCAG guidelines. And I love this, so do our engineers. It's one line of JavaScript. That's it. Because Userway is so good, it's used by more than 1 million websites, including the big guys, Coca-Cola, Disney, eBay. These are companies that really have to be accessible, and Userway can do that. As you get bigger, they scale with you. If they can handle Disney, absolutely they can handle you. They make best-in-class, enterprise-level accessibility tools available to you, your small or medium-sized business. And then as you scale, you need Userway, and you're ready. It just makes business sense. Some of the biggest problems, nav menus, very difficult. So the way this works, if you're blind or you're using accessibility tools, there is what they call an accessibility layer. That's what the screen reader sees. So really what UserWay does is make sure that all the information available to the front page to the sighted user is available to the browser in the accessibility layer. It changes colors. Now, you've got your Pantone color for your business. Of course, we do too. It doesn't change that, but it adjusts hue and luminance so it's easier for people with vision issues to read. So UserWay will generate alt tags. That's one of the reasons it needs AI. It can actually see the picture and generate an alt tag that matches the picture automatically. You can go in if you want. You can modify it, of course. It fixes violations like vague links, fixes broken links, makes sure that your website uses accessible colors, and you'll get a detailed report of all the violations that were fixed on your website so you know exactly what it did. Plus, you can work with it. UserWay integrates seamlessly with your site builder software. Let UserWay help your business meet its compliance goals, improve the experience for your users. UserWay can make any website fully accessible, ADA compliant, and everyone who visits can browse seamlessly, customize it to fit their needs. It's a great way to show your brand's commitment to the millions of people with disabilities. It's the right thing to do. UserWay can make any website fully accessible and ADA compliant. With UserWay, everyone who visits your site can browse seamlessly and customize it to fit their needs. It's also a perfect way to showcase your brand's commitment to millions of people with disabilities. Go to userway.org/twit. You'll get 30% off UserWay's AI-powered accessibility solution. UserWay, making the internet accessible for everyone, and I like that. We use it on our own website. You can check it out at twit.tv. Visit userway.org/twit. Today, we thank UserWay for supporting the Tech Guy Show. We thank you for supporting us back by going to that address. It's important to us if you do. That way they know you saw it here. userway.org/twit. Now back to the show. What is hip? This guy right here, Scott Wilkinson. He is our very own home theater guy, expert in flat screen TVs, surround sound, all the good stuff. Hi, Scott.
Hey, Leo, how you doing?
I am wonderful. Also, his podcast every other week at youtube.com/AVS Forum. The AVS Forum I've recommended for years as the place to go to get information about all kinds of... I first discovered them when I was hacking TiVos. Back in the TiVo series one day.
Oh, man.
Yeah. But now they're a little more up to date. I mean, they still cover TiVo, of course, but a lot of other home theater stuff. It's a good place to go.
It's a great place to go for like-minded hobbyists, people who are really into home theater and A and audio and video, A and V.
A and V. I used to shop at the A and V.
That's right.
What do you want to talk about today?
Oh, well, I got an email from a fellow who goes by Dr. McIntosh in the chat room. So I'm not sure if he's in there right now, but he has been in the past.
Yeah.
Sure. He's a cord cutter. He doesn't even have a TV. He watches on his computer, but he said, I'm finally kind of getting around to the idea of getting a TV. And he said, but I think I really want a projector. And I say, okay, great. And he's looking at the Samsung, what's called the Freestyle, which is a portable projector.
Huh.
And he likes it because it's portable.
Sure. People want to hide those projectors. They don't want to make them a big part of the room.
Well, that's true. And they maybe want to use them in different rooms.
Yeah, or outside.
Or outside, movie night under the stars kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, his first question is, do they still need a green screen, or is that something from the past?
Do not get a green screen.
They don't need a green screen. They never needed a green screen.
Please do not get a green screen. But
no, they need a white screen.
Yeah, but and you probably should get a good white screen, a good cinema screen, because they reflect, right? They're brighter.
They reflect the light very well and correctly, optimally, I should say.
But those aren't portable.
Well, you can get them. You can get them.
You can.
I had one like that. Don't you remember in junior high school, the AV squad would come and they'd set up the screen and it
would pull up from the bottom.
Yeah. When I go over to my friend's house and I bring my giant projection screen instead of just the tiny little portable.
Right. Now, there's a problem with portable projectors, and that is that they're very dim. They're not nearly as bright as as one that you plug in. Another problem here is with the Freestyle specifically. A lot of portable projectors can run on batteries, rechargeable batteries. The Freestyle does not. You have to plug it in. It's also like twice as expensive as many others. So if he's got the money to buy a Freestyle and he wants, and he can plug it in, and that's really kind of where it's at, I would recommend getting something like the BenQ, which is the company's called BenQ, BenQ. It's the HT2050A. It's actually classified more like a home theater projector, but it's small for a home theater projector. It's not one of those giant ones that you were thinking about, where you have to permanently install it. You can pick it up and move it around, go from one place to another. It's much brighter. Its color is more accurate. It's just a much better product overall, much better projector overall. If he really, really, really wants a portable that he can move around, I would say you want one with a battery, and you can spend like half as much almost on one that's going to be as good. It's not going to be as good as that BenQ or another permanently installed, not permanent, but I mean a home theater projector.
I had a projector from Anker that I really like called the Nebula. Have you ever looked at that?
That's the one?
I have not personally, but CNET counts it as the best portable projector.
I like it because it has Roku built in. It has the software built in.
Exactly.
They have little ones. They have a variety. It's a whole line.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
A laser one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do have. One of them is laser, I think.
And they're really for beach parties or camping. They're really designed. They even have speakers built in.
Yes, correct. Most home theater, portable projectors have speakers built in. Some of them you can even use as a Bluetooth speaker.
Yeah, the little Nebula looks like a Bluetooth speaker.
I know. It looks like a soda can almost.
Yeah.
But there's the Anker Nebula capsule, which is the little one. CNET, Jeff Morrison on CNET, who I've worked with for many years, has this list. Go to cnet.com and look for, best portable projector for 2022. And you'll see the Anker Nebula Mars 2 Pro is identified as the best portable projector.
And that's not that expensive, yeah.
$430 at Amazon.
They also have a laser, as you said, Mike, a laser, but that's a lot more expensive. That's $1,700 on Amazon. So,
right.
Yeah. But I don't know if you need the laser.
Freestyle, you don't really need the laser, although it'll be brighter.
It runs Android, not Roku. I said Roku. I meant Android. It runs Android. So it's got Android, Google TV with Android and all that. So pretty cool.
Right.
You don't even need, you just need, you don't even need software or anything. You don't have to bring a DVD player with you. You just need internet access.
That's right. So I do not recommend the Samsung The Freestyle because it's too expensive, doesn't go on batteries.
It kind of looks dopey. It looks like one of those, like a picture light that we would put on the floor to light up.
Right.
It's kind of weird looking. It's kind of strange.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, that's my advice for Dr. Macintosh.
Good. Yeah, I like I had the original Nebula when it first came out, and it was really cool. It was a neat idea. It was portable, had decent battery life. You could at least watch a whole movie anyway.
Did it die?
Yeah.
I have it somewhere.
Oh.
I might have put
it's
it
in
out.
the closet.
Well, I might have also put it out at Leo's garage sale. I do for the company. I'm bringing all my old junk.
I
put it on the
conference
conference room.
longevity.
Conference room table. I think maybe at one point that's where it ended up. Somebody has it. Somebody in the company has it. But they won't tell me because I can't. They'll think I'm going to ask for it back.
Yeah, I want that back.
No, I don't. It's okay.
Now, Dr. Macintosh also had another very interesting point here. He said he is prone to seizures, and so he's never gotten into AR, VR because he's heard that can induce seizures, and maybe TVs can too. Certain content anyway, flashing lights, that sort of thing. And that may be a good reason to get a projector rather than a TV because it's not as bright. Even the brightest projector is way less bright than the dimmest TV almost.
I'd consult your physician, though. I mean, obviously,
well, of course.
I don't know anything about,
of course,
your particular case.
Correct.
And it did
Correct.
say when we went into Doctor Strange and the multiverse of Indiana Jones that
Madness of
yeah, whatever it's called, that there were flashing lights and you should be careful if you're epileptic.
If you're photosensitive.
Photosensitive. Is that what they call it? Yeah.
That's what they call it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
So,
wow. It's interesting that you went to see that movie, and you're not really a Marvel fan. I know that.
But it was good.
I am.
Did you like it?
I am. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, it's quite good. Well, it's going to be leaving theaters soon. It's going to Disney Plus. You can watch. It's funny. We watched Top Gun last night to kind of get in the mood for Top Gun Maverick, and we had the choice of watching it on the 100-inch projection screen in the living room, or on the OLED, the cozy OLED, and we ended up watching it in the bedroom on the cozy OLED.
On the cozy OLED
because it looks great, and the version on Apple is HDR, which is surprising. They must have remastered it. Because it was
I'm sure they
came out in
did.
'86. It must have been a film.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
And you can remaster a film to be HDR, no problem.
That's how you know I'm an old guy. I call it a film. Scott Wilkinson, Home Theater Geek. Watch his show, youtube.com/AVS Forum, and join him here each and every week. Thank you, Scott.
You bet.
Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Seizures.
Oh, dear God.
It's funny. I did like the first Doctor Strange a lot.
I did too.
I like the first one
thought
a lot.
Correct.
This one it's just a little long for me.
It's long and it's complicated.
It's very complicated.
And there's a lot of crap going on.
So much going on. I was telling...
Go ahead, Micah.
Sorry, I was just going to say, there are some comics that I think make great movies, and there are some comics that, because of the nature of the superpowers that they have, they end up having to make kind of messy movies, because you've got these two reality bending individuals. I won't say who all is involved, but you've got actually different reality bending individuals.
There are a bunch of Marvel characters in this movie.
Exactly. Yeah. I did. Yeah.
Well, it's big. Wanda's big. If you haven't seen the WandaVision show.
Oh, WandaVision is hilarious.
It'd be confusing. But if you saw and liked WandaVision, I think you would like this movie especially.
Well, I was also a little put off by some of the early reviews that said this is Marvel's first horror movie.
It is. Well, it's Sam Raimi.
And I'm not a horror movie guy.
Sam Raimi's a
like
great director.
movies.
It's not horror.
I wouldn't call it horror, but there are a few, won't say, of course, but there are a few moments that I thought I would not want anyone under 18 seeing that
little
happen.
Scary. You mean when Doctor Strange is just his skull is like his face is rotted away?
That's spoilers, but
that's not a spoiler.
It's the brutality of some of the killing deaths were pretty brutal. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, brutal killings. I'm not into. Is the Doctor Strange moment like the Indiana Jones face melting? Is that kind of where we're going there?
Yeah, it's more prolonged, but yes. Sam Raimi is a horror guy, and so he's definitely got some of his style mixed in with it.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for lending me your wife. That was really great. She was very helpful.
I'm so glad.
And I'm going to now take up a singing career, so I'm very excited.
Exactly. Well, this is her specialty. Exactly what you went to her for. So.
And you can tell her, I got my Biotene spray. With xylitol. That's good. It works.
She might be watching right now. I told her that we were talking about her.
If she is, I will be reaching
Micah's
out.
next.
Yep.
Micah's next.
We're going to get the whole company trained up.
I like it.
That's a good idea. I should offer that to anybody at Twit who wants to do it. I'll talk to Lisa and see if she wants to do that.
Oh, fantastic.
Because it is good. You want to take care of your voice.
Exactly.
But what she told me, which I thought was really interesting, is that older voices, the rules are different. When you're young, you're told, get out of your throat, come from your chest, where you could produce in your diaphragm. She said, yeah, but as you get older, you slump into your chest and you start to sound like this. And she said, you don't want to do that. You want to bring it back up into the throat and get more activity in the throat. So that's what I've been doing. And then
well, good for you.
And then she's also in chat. And then I did my vocal warm-up today, and what was it? Ma made me match my M&Ms.
Mommy made me match my M&Ms.
Mama made me match my M&Ms. I sent her a couple of links. There are a lot of vocal training on YouTube. Huge amount.
Yeah.
I was really surprised.
Yeah. A lot of people put those things out. And I think Joanna would say some of them are
that's the problem.
good and some of them aren't.
That's why I sent her a few links saying, are these okay? She said, just be careful. Some of them, the range is way too high for you and you'll hurt yourself.
Let's
she
not
just cringed.
Well, yeah. Hey, if we can get some Twit folks over there,
I think that's a really good idea. I'm going to talk to Lisa and see if she wants
for her to help.
Because we're voice people. We should all learn how to do it right. So
it would be cool.
Exactly so. Warming up is really important.
Yeah, I've never warmed up in my life. That's the first. Today's the first day I warmed up. All right, you want to hang around for the top?
Sure, happy
All
to.
right, thank you.
Oh, such a good song. Buttercup baby, just to let me down.
So how do you know this song? This was like 30 years before you were born.
This is what my mom and I used to listen to in the car, always. These
it's also in a movie.
golden oldies.
Wasn't it in a movie, Build Me Up Buttercup? I feel like some recent movie. Anyway, that's Professor Laura, our musical director, keeping us entertained and amused while we answer your questions. Leo in Anaheim is next. Hi, Leo.
Leo, this is Leo Courtois. Comment ça va?
Oh, ça va bien. Hi, Leo Courtois.
You know what? I've got several things I want to talk to you guys about, but I'm so glad I waited for Scott. Scott, are you aware that Dish is playing USFL in 4K HDR on Channel 540?
No.
Oh.
Yeah,
I was not aware of that.
They've been showing all the USFL games in HDR, 4K, and they're so brilliant, Scott, to have those play out. And I'm watching them now on my brand new 77 C2.
Oh,
LG,
man.
His LG OLED.
So awesome.
Yeah. Leo, it's so funny to watch you guys on TV and have you playing in my headset for the radio. It's like watching a Japanese version of Godzilla.
Gargantua. It's him.
Yeah, that's right. You're talking 4 seconds later than what I actually hear.
Oh, man.
The lip sync's a little bit off. So the USFL is an upstart football league, a U.S. football league, and they do record in 4K. They've done some really interesting things, too. They use drones, and the drones hover. They're not 4K, unfortunately, but they hover in and among the huddles.
Well, the whole...
are you sure they're not 4K?
Maybe they are. They could be 4K.
There are 4K drones.
Don't let me forget,
no
the reason I'm calling is because I'm having a blooming issue with my C2. How do you get rid of blooming?
What is blooming, first of all, Scott?
Well, it's when you get halos around bright objects, and in an OLED you shouldn't really see.
I could see that as a backlight problem, but there's no backlight in it.
There's no backlight in an OLED. Now, what picture mode have you selected?
Well, I've been watching standard.
I would go to movie or cinema mode.
Yeah, but it's so dull.
You know what? Okay. It
has a yellow tint to it, and I don't care for it.
I don't know about the yellow tint, but I can address the dull part. It's as if you were eating, hot sauce your whole life.
Right.
And then somebody served you filet mignon or some delicious meal, and you said, this is so boring, it has no flavor. You got to get off the hot sauce.
Yeah, you do.
Scott,
that's true.
So you can find the 4K USFL. It's on channel 540.
It's not
up there.
I should tell people it's not just Dish. Fox is streaming it that way as well. So
that's good because I don't have Dish anymore. I used to have Dish.
Yeah.
But when we moved, I couldn't take it with me.
I remember you saying Dish. You had Dish about 3 months ago.
Correct.
And they used to broadcast 4K, but it wasn't in HDR, and it had kind of a yellow haze to it. But now they're HDR.
Oh, that's interesting.
And they're so nice. But back to blooming, Scott. Is there any way to get rid of it?
Well, I would say turn down the contrast control for one thing.
I did do that.
Okay, and perhaps even the brightness control, but the contrast control is probably the one that's causing the blooming. It's probably not blooming. It's probably what's called clipping, which means that it's trying to get up to its highest white, But if the contrast control is too high, then it gets to that brightest part before the signal does. And so everything above that gets clipped to that level, to that brightness. So turn down contrast. I would highly recommend that you get a disc. Do you have a Blu-ray player or an Ultra HD Blu-ray player?
I sure do.
Okay. Then I would get a disc. Is it Ultra HD? Is it UHD Blu-ray?
It's Ultra. It's the highest quality you can get.
Excellent. Wonderful. Get the Spears & Munsell HD Benchmark Ultra HD Blu-ray setup disc. It's probably $30. And go through that and set your basic picture controls. If you like standard mode, okay, go to standard mode. But set your brightness and contrast controls using that disc. And I would wager that will solve the problem.
Well, I have a tech coming out next week to look at it.
Oh.
So I don't know if they can adjust it themselves, but
if it's a good tech, he'll have that disc and he should be able to do it. Are you having it fully calibrated?
No, I don't think I need that. The picture, Scott, you know this TV is so choice.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
But when you're watching a scene that's not black in the background, there's no blooming with that. It's just when there's a scene where there's a figure in...
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. When you say blooming, I'm thinking now, Scott, it's only when there's a solid black that you see that?
Yes.
And do you see gradations like it's instead of being a solid black, it's almost like it's black, then blacker, then blacker, then blacker in different... in other words, can you see boundaries? It's like watercolors. Yeah, I think this may be a compression issue and not a TV reproduction issue. If you've got a highly compressed...
You're right.
Well, they call it macro blocking. In fact, here's what you do, Leo. You go Google macro blocking so you can see some examples of it and I bet you... I'm not saying that's what it is, but that's certainly something to be aware of, and that's nothing the TV can do. It's reproducing the highly... bad compression that it's getting. And if you're trying to stream 4K on a satellite, I wouldn't be surprised if it's highly compressed.
That's a good point. Very good point.
Well, I get it if I'm watching YouTube or Netflix.
Yeah. So
if there's a black background, is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's several scenes where somebody's sneaking up on somebody in the background.
You're going to see that macro blocking. That's an artifact of compression. Same thing if you have a big blue sky. The blues will not be consistent. It won't be a smooth grade. It'll be layers of blue, and that's just a problem with compression. It's not your TV. It's compression. True. That's why I think it is a good idea to get a UHD DVD, which won't be nearly as compressed.
Correct.
That's going to be very high quality, and that you shouldn't see any macro blocking, I don't think.
No, that's correct.
Leo, you've given me a lot of time, but could I talk to Scott off the air?
That's up to Scott. There's no way I can do that.
Sure. I don't have any problem with it.
I don't have the technology to do that. If you're on the phone, you're on the air.
I understand that, but let Kim put somebody else on, and I appreciate your time.
Oh, hey, it's great to talk to you. Yeah, that's something to be aware of, this compression issue. I'm excited.
You're exactly right.
I'm excited. There are some more USFL games coming up. Because it's kind of a poor man's NFL, they can try stuff. I remember I didn't realize they were doing 4K HDR. Somebody said if you have 4K in your YouTube TV, you can see it. Fox FS1 is streaming it in 4K, so look around. But one of the things they're doing, I will never forget this shot. They had the drone up in the broadcast booth, and when they went to it, it soared out of the broadcast booth, down over the crowd, onto the field, behind the quarterback, right there. Amazing shot. And I think the networks are probably watching this with interest, but they're doing a very good job. Fox is doing a very good job of producing this. They're going to do more stuff in 4K because they've got the stream, right?
That's right.
So they're doing NASCAR races. I think now they may have only been a couple of the USFL games. I don't know if they're still playing, but I don't know. It looks like they only they ended up doing HDR only in the games that end through May. So, it's expensive. They've got to bring out all those cameras, and you need a special truck to do 4K.
You need a 4K capable truck. Too.
Yeah, it's hard to do.
And more compression because there's more data.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Thank you, Scott. Scott,
you bet.
More calls coming up. Apparently, the LG has a macro blocking filter, which interestingly, that might create what looks like blooming.
Correct.
Right?
Oh, that's a very good point.
It might be smoothing out the macro blocking, and as a result, giving you a really horrific, yicky looking screen. So.
Yeah. I got to tell you, though, when we find the house that we're going to buy and live in for years to come, the 77C2 is my next TV. The exact TV that he bought.
All right, I'm going to put him on hold. And it's completely up to you, but I'll get Kim to get his number or email or something, and you guys can.
Yeah, email.
I don't think it's a good idea to get in the habit of letting people call you.
Well, no. Don't give out my phone number.
I think I think it will be a problem.
Yes, it will.
So maybe just give him. What email address should she give him?
Scott at twit.tv.
There you go. Scott at twit.tv. 2 T's.
That's easy. Yeah, exactly. Joe is asking, what's the name of that calibration disc? It's called HD Benchmark. The actual publisher of the disc is Hand Forged Video, I believe. It's produced by Stacy Spears and Don Munsell. Spears and Munsell. So if you Google Spears and Munsell HD Benchmark, you'll find it. It's available on Blu-ray and on UHD Blu-ray. They're slightly different. They're not exactly the same. But if you have a UHD Blu-ray player like Leo has, then that's definitely the one to get. And you set your basic controls, primarily contrast and brightness, using the test patterns on that disc. And that will get you a good leeway towards the right setting, the optimum picture. Now, it won't get you to the right color temperature, and that's what Leo was complaining about. He went to the movie mode, and it looked dim or dull, and Leo was exactly correct. And it's a great analogy. I'm going to use that, by the way. If you eat hot sauce all your life, which is like what the brighter, more colorful modes are, then when you eat something that's as it's supposed to be, then it tastes dull. Well, similarly, you look at a TV picture in standard even mode or worse vivid mode, game mode, it looks like a cartoon, but you get used to it. And then you look at something like what the actual movie creators intended for it to look like, and you go, oh, that's dull and it's reddish. I don't know where you got the yellowish part, but typically the movie mode at first looks a bit reddish. And when you look at that at first, you go, oh, I don't want to look at that. Give yourself a little time. Wait. Just keep it there for a week or so. It's what the directors and the content creators intended their content, which they spent hours and hours and weeks and months and years on. It's what they intended it to look like. And ultimately, it is the best experience. Now, I will admit, I know some people, or I've heard of some people anyway, that say, I've done that, I've waited a week or two, and I've looked at that, and I still prefer vivid mode. Fine. If you like vivid mode, put it in vivid mode and enjoy. But be aware that that's not what the content creators intended. It's not what it's supposed to look like. If you like it better that way, go for it. Eat hot sauce on every meal, and more power to you. Let's see. Mike Heiss, yes, exactly. C2 or the Sony or the Samsung QDO LED. After what we saw at Display Week, I'm in for QDO LED. Yes, I agree. And I had forgotten that. And if I believe the Samsung QD OLED only goes up to, is only available in 55 and 65. And if I were limited to 65, yes, I would probably get that one. Except for the fact that Samsung doesn't support Dolby Vision. That's, to me, a kind of a big deal. They support HDR10 Plus, which is very similar to Dolby Vision, high dynamic range, in that it has dynamic metadata that changes throughout the movie. But there's far more content encoded in Dolby Vision than there is in HDR10 Plus. Now, will that change in the future? Who can say? But for now, Dolby Vision is by far the more prevalent format for HDR than HDR10 Plus, which is why I would probably tend to go with the LG. Now, the QD OLED did look fantastic. It looked amazing. If Samsung were to, finally change its tune and implement Dolby Vision, I'd be all in. Let's see. Joe says both the PS5 and Xbox Series X have test patterns and calibration guides. Is that not good enough? Yes, it is. Probably. I've never used them, actually. So I can't say for sure, but I would suspect probably so. So if you have a PS5 or as long as they're in 4K and HDR, and I know the PS5 and Xbox Series X are 4K, and I'm pretty sure they're HDR, so it's probably okay. Mike Mann. Hey, Mike Mann. Good to see you. Go to picture mode settings, Mpeg noise reduction. Exactly, Mpeg noise reduction. Mpeg noise is another name for macro blocking, or macro blocking is one type of Mpeg noise. And Mpeg noise is what happens when you compress something. Mike Mann knows this all too well, since he is a colorist and compressionist. So, yes, exactly right. That's where you go. Let's see. Mike B. I remember SD. Always felt SD was very dim. Vivid HD looks a lot more realistic, in my humble opinion. And I'm old enough to remember before cable TV existed. Again, whatever your preference is. If you like hot sauce all the time, go for it. If you like vivid all the time, go for it. I will tell you this in whatever objective terms one might use, it is not more realistic. But if you like it, enjoy. Let's see. Phoenix Warp 1, the only question I have is with that logic is why do you think some TV manufacturers set their TV mode to be what the directors intended? Not very many do. Most of them out of the box set it to vivid mode. Why? Because they don't know which of their TVs that go to a dealer is going to get taken out of the box and set up on the show floor. And on the show floor, you want the TV to be in vivid mode because it's going to attract more eyeball attention. But your living room is not a showroom. The lighting is completely different. So that's why most TVs come out of the box not in calibrated or cinema mode. Let's see. Twisted Mister, did I see the HDTV test video RE Samsung's color tracking scandal? Are you talking about the subpixel arrangement in the QD
No,
OLED?
they were changing the way the monitor looked if they thought you were taking...
Oh, yes. It looked correct at 10% and 20%.
Yeah.
But if you put in 11%, it was totally wrong.
Yeah.
I did hear about that. I haven't read much into it. If that's true, then man, that would turn me off to Samsung big time. I did hear about that just at Display Week. That was the first time I'd heard of that. And I have to look into that. I haven't had a chance to do that yet, but that is really bad. That's almost like the Volkswagen diesel scandal, or not diesel, the smog control, smog test scandal, where they jacked the software so that it would test well for the smog check, but then afterwards it would emit a bunch more.
Thanks,
There we
Scott.
go.
Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy with Tech Guy 2, Michael Sargent. Hello, 8888 Ask Leo. The phone number, 888-827-5536. I feel kind of bad. We have a friend. So I use SodaStream. You use SodaStream, right?
Right. Yes.
I like the idea. I don't want plastic bottles. I'm trying to get rid of single-use plastic in everything, you know. And the idea of SodaStream is you have CO2 cartridges and you make your own soda water and you can add flavoring and soda and you don't throw away the bottle. It seems like a good idea.
It's a good idea at the time. Until you realize it's like buying a printer, because the cartridges are very expensive to refill.
Still cheaper than soda.
Cheaper than soda, but the other problem is that they are especially difficult when you are trying to find the company that you're supposed to go to and the store that you're supposed to go to, and they're out of them sometimes. It's a hassle.
I just do it by mail, but still. Our friend, who is a very big geek, Steve Gibson, said, no, don't do that. He got a 70-pound CO2 canister, like, human-sized, and a special spigot so he can recharge the little cartridges that the SodaStream uses. He says, Leo, it's so much cheaper. You just get them to recharge it. It's pennies. It's pennies. Something.
Yeah.
Pennies. It's just pennies.
It's pennies.
It's nothing. It costs nothing. So I foolishly, this was my mistake. I believed him, and I bought the spigot, and I bought a canister, and then I found out that no one will fill up my canister.
Yeah, we thought, because there are lots of breweries around us, that one of the breweries would gladly give us some CO2 for pennies.
Home brewers, use it.
Mm-hmm.
So Micah said, good, we'll share it. I'll leave it in the office. Micah runs out of gas for his SodaStream. Come in, fill it up. So I gave up. I called around. Nobody would take it. There's exchange programs, but then I would,
Yeah.
So I just put it at Micah's desk.
Just sort of
left it there. And he said the other day, did you leave that there for me? I said, well, I'm not going to use it, so maybe you would like to use it. Now, I feel guilty because I kind of dumped it on you.
I have found a company, though, so I'm going to reach out to them because they don't put their prices online. You have to actually call them for the quote, but we're going to see what that is, and if there's nothing there, then I guess Leo's garage sale will feature a giant canister.
A giant empty canister that's suitable for filling with any, the gas of your choice.
There you go. Argon.
I think it could be anything, yeah.
Nitrogen.
Yeah. Back in Philly in our chat room says he gets his filled at Air Gas.
That's the company.
Yeah.
That's the one I was talking about.
So if you can see, the companies don't want the liability though of you bringing your own
canister.
They want to have the ones that, just like the propane exchange where they the Blue Rhino or whatever, they test it and they use their canisters. So
it needs to be food grade CO2. Someone had mentioned going to a paintball store
or a welding store. No.
Yeah, no, we need food grade CO2, which is what Air Gas does provide.
Good. And there's an Air Gas and
and a surrounding city, like 10-minute drive or something.
Okay.
So
well, let me know. We could.
Yeah. Well, I'll figure it out for sure. Because
if you figure it out,
I don't know if we
still
have to
in
do a
if you
canister
want.
Exchange. Yeah, we can still keep this little operation rolling.
I don't know why we started talking about that, but we did. 88, because that's me. Because I am a little ADHD. Mm-hmm. That's, I think, the truth. Or ADD, because I'm not hyperactive. My attention wanders.
Yeah.
Did your attention wander?
I was diagnosed with that back in college. Officially ADHD.
I think everybody's attention wanders these days.
That is also true.
Everything is in little, you watch YouTube, it's all little chunks, TikTok, 30 seconds, like that. We have no attention.
The future is going to be a very interesting thing.
It's going to be quick. That's the good news. It'll be over fast. Albo, Montebello, California. Hi, Albo. Leo Laporte, Michael Sargent, your tech guys.
Yes, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Thank you for taking my call.
Thanks for calling.
I have a HP Spectre laptop, and of course I
love those. Do you love it?
Yeah, but until I installed the Windows 11.
Uh-oh.
That's always the problem.
Those are beautiful. Those are beautiful, those Spectres. But Windows 11, also beautiful.
Yeah, to the point where it doesn't want to shut down.
Oh, nice.
So it stays on no matter if I program or tell it to shut down on the lid and the button.
Yeah.
It turns on within 5 seconds.
Turns back on. Yeah, this is actually, this has been a problem with Windows for about 20 years. You'd think they'd have fixed this by now. So a couple of things you can...
I looked at all the websites and all the fix-its and some of the options, the panels that they say that are on there are not on there, so I can't fix it. I can't change the settings of the window.
First thing I turn off is fast boot. I'm sorry, fast startup. You turn that off. Okay.
Yes, I did do that.
That's something Microsoft should never have allowed. It causes problems in all sorts of areas, but you turn that off. You're not using Hibernate. Make sure you've got the latest BIOS. Mm-hmm. The other reason that Windows will reboot is because it thinks you want to. It's got stuff to do.
But after I shut it down?
Yeah. It says, oh, no, you didn't want to shut it down. So it's a good idea to look at what processes and services are running. You can there's certainly an easy way to do it with the Task Manager, but there's a really wonderful free program from Microsoft called Process Explorer. It's part of their sysinternals packages. So if you search for Process Explorer Microsoft, you'll find it very quickly. You can download it. It's free. And it tells you what's running in the background.
Okay.
And what you can do as a kind of exploration of what's keeping your Windows up at night is shut down processes before you shut down the computer to see if it fixes it. And you might have to, shut down half of them, see if it fixes it, then shut down the other half. And then if that half does it, then narrow that down. You're going to narrow it down to the thing that's doing it. There may just be one thing that's doing it. So
somebody suggested trying to shut it down from the command line.
Well, yeah. Tell me how you shut it down. I should have asked that. Yeah.
Well, I programmed it to shut down when I close the lid. Okay, it's shut down, and I programmed it to shut down when I press the power button. So either way,
you sure it's shut down and not sleep?
No.
Okay.
No.
So you see it shutting down. You see it shutting everything down. The lights all go out. It's got a dark screen, and then a second later it goes bing and starts up again.
6 seconds with the lid closed and the power button light turns on. And the annoying part is that I have the Bluetooth on for the Bluetooth mouse and also a Bose speaker that I have hooked up to it.
Okay. There's a couple more things to try.
Ready to connect.
Now that I know you have those things connected. In the BIOS, there's some settings, one called Wake on LAN, that will actually turn the computer on with LAN activity. You want to make sure that any wake on settings, you might even have I've seen this in some BIOSes, wake on Bluetooth. And it may be that device is waking it up, believe it or not.
Okay. But the way I've solved the problem temporarily is I shut off the Bluetooth on the laptop. Oh,
that's interesting.
Yes.
And that fixes it?
I'm sorry?
And that fixes it?
Well, no, the computer stays on. It still turns on. It just doesn't do the speaker anymore, or the speaker doesn't go late at night in the middle of the night, ready to connect.
Here is, thank you, PC Guy 8088, who's really quite sophisticated. He's given us lots of great answers over the years. There is, believe it or not, a command line. I don't know how, I guess with all this troubleshooting, you're probably familiar with the command line now, that will tell you what things will wake your computer up. It's a power config program, POWERCFG space dash device query space wake _ from _ any. Now, I'll put this in the show notes, but you could type that into the command line. It'll give you a list of devices that can wake it up. We'll also give you a command that will shut it down with extreme prejudice and see if that works. But I've seen this before. I'm not kidding when I say this has been a Windows problem for decades. And there are a variety of causes, most of them dopey.
Well, it was all fine in 10 until I updated to 11, and then all the little problems started coming up. And this one that I'll go from a full battery charge the night before to the morning.
Yes.
And it's dead.
Something's running in the background. That's probably the thing that's also waking it up. Yeah. There's some. That's why this Process Explorer might be interesting.
Okay, I'll wait for the show notes because
we gave you a lot of stuff there.
There was a lot of notes there. Yeah.
Hey, I hope we can help you. Tech guy, and if somebody's listening and says, oh, that happened to me, and there are lots of different reasons this can happen and lots of solutions. So we want to give you a pretty good range of these. The website is techguylabs.com. This is episode 1899. We're going to be in the 20th century next time. 1899. And it's free. There's no sign up. It does take a while to get the notes up there. They won't be up there till tomorrow or the next day. But once they're up there, you should be able to find all this stuff. And if anybody hears something or knows something, let us know. 8888 Ask Leo. More calls still to come. Johnny Jett, our travel guru, as well. Stay tuned. Leo and Micah, your tech guys, continue right after this.
Pedant.
Mr. Pedant is back in the house. So it's the next tomorrow. Well, I didn't say tomorrow, did I, John? I just said we'll be in the 20th century soon. Did I say tomorrow? Maybe I was. Maybe I was referring to 1901, which is next Saturday. Did you ever think of that? But you're right. I was thinking of tomorrow. Out-of-date BIOS could do it. All right.
Yeah, that's what I saw in some of the
update your BIOS
help documents. But even after some people updated their BIOS, it still wasn't fixing it.
Cole says, I cannot stress enough how much out-of-date BIOS would impact his issue.
Thank you, Cole.
I cannot stress it enough. I cannot stress enough how much an updated BIOS.
I think you're stressing your voice, if I'm being honest. It does sound a little stressed.
It's strained.
Strained, that's the word.
That's the word.
Listen to those vocal cords stretch.
I did tell her that I like to do accents. And she said, what accents do you do? And I said, well, all kinds. Just depends on my mood. She says, when do you do it? I said, whenever I feel like it.
Sometimes when I'm talking to myself.
Sometimes all the time oh, you should hear me when I'm talking to myself. I talk sometimes Russian.
Yes.
Sometimes I do the Irish thing because I feel like it's
I do like a brogue.
pleasant. And then when I'm tired, I'll get very southern because the drawl is easy to do. Now, where you grew up in southern Missouri.
Northern Missouri.
Oh, you're northern Missouri because southern Missouri is the South.
It is the South. My family, because I've listened to them so much, obviously, I didn't realize this, but they do have accents.
Yeah.
When Sebastian first met them, he was like, whoa.
Now, what does it sound like?
It's not quite like Savannah or anything like that. And
Savannah is very nice, very relaxed.
I do like that.
My favorite.
It's
Texas is more hard-edged.
More like this.
More like that?
Yeah. But maybe not as obvious. But they say, some of them say wash instead of wash.
Wash is, that comes from the Mid-Atlantic thing. 'Cause my mom says Washington, D.C. And
wash rag.
She doesn't talk, wash rag. Going to do the wash. I sometimes sound like foghorn leghorn.
I say. Yeah, I don't, my youngest brother has it the worst. I shouldn't say the worst, but for some reason, my youngest brother has a very thick
want
accent
regional accents to continue. Yeah. Does he use skull chewing tobacco?
He doesn't, thank God.
Okay. Because that will make it kind of sound. If you have a little pinch between the cheek and gum, it will actually give you that.
Like instead of saying stupid, he says stupid. Stupid.
Are you stupid?
Yeah.
I got a little pinch between the cheek and gum, and that makes me sound like this.
Almost what you'd expect. Huckleberry Finn to sound like.
I say, Huckleberry Finn. Oh, he sounds like this. He's kind of more like Andy Griffith.
Yeah. That's
more an Andy Griffith kind of a sound.
Yeah, I think.
Where is Mayberry RFD?
I don't know.
What state is that in? News. I say news.
News.
I say which and cool whip and news.
For some reason, a lot of Midwesterners, they put an L in the word both, and I used to do that as well.
Both?
They would say both instead of both. And
Wow, that's a good one.
that was actually my awakening was when someone said, "Why are you saying both?" And from that point on,
Both.
that's when I started to shift. This
Both
was back
of
in
you.
high school, and I
Both
started to
of you.
shift my
Focus, both of you.
yeah. And instead of like if you're talking about the number 10, we would say tin.
10.
Yep.
10. I would love to work with a dialogue coach sometime and learn all of those because that's
I
really
know.
fascinating.
Especially when they can shift so quickly.
So fascinating.
I love watching those videos.
Yeah. Hey, let me tell you about our sponsor for this segment of the Tech Guy Show. A great company. I love these guys. I've talked to them many times. Melissa. Keeping your contact data and other data up to date is Melissa's job. They're called the address experts by the many thousands of businesses that use Melissa. They use it because poor data quality can cost you as much as $15 million a year. Actually, that's an average. Things like an address book that's out of date, sending 3 catalogs to the same address, or losing track of a customer completely. That costs you. If you're a small to medium-sized business, every penny counts. The longer poor quality data stays in your system, the more losses you can accumulate. So, to ensure your business is successful, your customer information needs to be accurate. Melissa is a leading provider of global data quality and address management solutions. When I say global, I mean global. More than 230 countries and territories. They can correct the address. They can fix it up. They can correct the name, the zip code, the phone number. Check out Melissa's cloud-based data cleansing and enrichment tool. Easy to use. You upload your file. It could be a CSV file, an Excel file, into the first tab. You can even copy and paste it into the second tab. Select a data quality service. Click Next. Map the input fields. You say, well, that's name, that's address, that's zip. Select the output fields, data to append, and process your list. What can you append? Well, all sorts of things. For instance, you could have the zip code turned and the address turned into longitude and latitude. You can verify. It's very important for verification. You know, you want to make sure that you're talking to the actual customer. We were talking about security earlier. They can eliminate clutter and duplicates, which means you don't send out 3 catalogs the same address. I used to get the restoration hardware catalog, same catalog, thick catalog, must have cost them a lot, 4 colors. I used to get 4 copies of it to the same address. They should have had Melissa. You can also analyze your data to improve its quality over time. They've got profiling. They have, of course, email verification, which removes 95% of bad email addresses. They even have an app for iOS and Android. It's called the Lookups app. You can use it to search addresses, names, and more right at your fingertips. And, of course, you can do it on-prem as a SaaS. Your data is always secure with Melissa. They undergo continuous independent audits to make sure that they're compliant and secure and private. They're SOC 2, HIPAA, GDPR compliant. 37 years they've been doing this. They are the address experts. More than 10,000 businesses trust them, and I think you should too. And if you sign up for a service level agreement, you'll get 24/7 world-famous support from their global support center. So make sure your customer contact data is up to date. Get started today with 1,000 records clean, free. Yeah. Good way to try it out. Give them your worst contact list, the oldest one. Melissa.com/twit. Melissa.com/twit. We thank them so much for supporting our tech guys. And we thank you for supporting us by using that address, Melissa, MELISSA.com/twit. Now back to the show. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Micah Sargent, tech guy too. We are sitting in proximity to one another.
We are.
Here in cattle country, I've seen a couple of signs in stores where it says, keep a cow's length apart. Because that's a little easier than 6 feet. Cow, I know what a cow is. And we have a heifer between us right now.
6 chickens apart. Yeah. For Petaluma.
88. We're missing right now.
Oh, no. Is there another festival?
Yeah, the big deviled egg tasting is going on. The contest, the deviled egg contest, is going on down at the Barber Cellars right now.
Interesting.
65 people, each of them cooking 3 dozen.
What's the temperature outside
deviled
right
eggs?
Now? I'm a little concerned for people's stomachs.
And noon to 2. Noon to 2. We're missing it right now. We go, do you like deviled eggs?
I like deviled eggs, but I'm trying to think of how you sort of change. What all can you do to a deviled egg to make it unique?
Yeah.
When does it stop being a deviled egg is what I'm wondering.
Well, I think anytime you take the yolk out of a hard-boiled egg and mush it up with other stuff, that's deviled.
Okay, so I could make like a
you can put all sorts of stuff in there. Sure.
Truffle butter.
All sorts of truffle butter deviled egg. Damien on the line, and I'm probably pretty sorry about it too. How do you pronounce that? Chamie, Washington? Chimie,
Washington. I'm over near Spokane, Washington. And by the way, it's Washington, not Washington.
Not Washington. It's not Washington. No siree.
No, and by the way, pet that I Love Linux little guy on your desk.
You know who made that? Before you say anything bad about it, that was made by Micah. He crocheted that with his own little hands.
Howdy.
Good job.
Thanks.
Yeah, and look, the hat comes off. It's a real hat. It's a little penguin with a... Yeah, you like that?
Yeah, that's a nice little... It's good job.
Yeah, isn't he
sort
talented?
The rise in the voice there makes me think he was going to go a different way with that.
Yeah, I know. I thought he wasn't going to like it, so that's why I warned him. Good. Well, you like it. Good. Thank you, Damien.
Yeah. And long-time watcher, I've called in a few times.
Nice. Well, welcome back. Good to see you again. Yeah. What's up?
So I have a settlement that I won, and I'm going to have some buku money coming in.
Congratulations. I think that's awesome. I'm sure it's compensating you for something horrible, though, so I'm sorry about that, but I'm glad you got some compensation.
Yep.
So what?
I would like to get me a good laptop that I can just get and go pick up, pay for it, and be done.
To what end? What do you want to do with this thing?
I want I do a lot of video editing.
Oh. Okay.
I'm not a gamer. I'm not much of a gamer. I do play Minecraft, but I'm more of a video editor, audio editor type guy.
Nice. Yeah, you can play Minecraft on anything. That's not a very demanding game.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. I tell you.
But video editing sure is. What program do you use for video editing?
The one and only Adobe Premiere.
Premiere. So my son, the TikTok star, uses. It's what we use here at Twit for all of our shows. Premiere will run on Macs as well as Windows. In fact, Adobe has made the Premiere an M1 compatible program, so it runs quite well on the Mac. Would you consider a Mac?
I have a Mac, but it does need to be updated. It's an old Mac. It's a good laptop. I got it for free from a friend of mine. The only problem with that Mac is that the battery is totally toast.
You want the longest battery life of any laptop sold today?
I wouldn't mind considering a Mac, but if I'm going to get a Mac, I want one that can do 2 video screens out.
Okay, all of them can do a second screen. So that's the good. Do you want 2 external screens or 1 external and 1 internal?
2 external.
Okay, so yeah, that is gonna limit you. I would wait to see if Apple announces the M2 tomorrow. Apple has done a strange thing, or not tomorrow, day after tomorrow. Apple's done a strange thing with video on their M1 chips. I don't think their video capabilities are as good as they used to be with Intel. Yeah. So the M1 MacBooks, the early original M1 MacBooks could only drive 1 external monitor. The new ones can drive 2. And if I were you, for video editing, I'll tell you what we gave Anthony, who is our kind of one of our most productive editors. I don't want to say that. Because we have other editors who are just as productive. He's one of the most creative of our editors. We gave him the 16-inch MacBook Pro with the M1.
Ooh, that sounds good.
M1 Pro in it. So it depends on how much money you have to spend. For battery life, plenty. Good, congratulations. I guess. I mean,
yeah. Hopefully, you're the good guy in this.
The only settlement I ever got was from Pop Chips, and all I got was a bag of Pop Chips. That would not buy me a laptop. But although by the way, Google's paying $100 million to residents of Illinois because of violating their anti-biometric regulations. So
I heard about that. Yeah,
some people in Illinois are going to get a pretty good settlement. I would definitely battery life, video editing, even with Premiere. I would say that the MacBooks are absolutely amazing with the M1. See what happens Monday. I don't think they're going to announce a power M1. They're probably going to announce a entry-level M2. But I think the M1 Pro or the M1 Max if you wanted to max it out, MacBook Pro 16 with an M1 Max, 32 or better yet 64 gigs of RAM, 2 terabyte hard drive, you'd be spending $5,000, but you'd have a beautiful machine. Beautiful machine.
Yeah. Yep. Well, thank you very much there, Leo. I do have another question for you, a very quick one.
Sure. I got 20 seconds.
Are you going to be open for allowing guests in your studio during the weekend?
Someday soon, if COVID goes away, yes. But, yeah. And I would love to see you, Damien. We'll let you know. Don't worry. Leo Laporte, Micah Sargent, your tech guys. Johnny Jet coming up.
Oh.
Yeah, if you go... Oh... Okay, let's look at the clues. He's got a trampoline behind him. It looks like, there's people on the trampoline. He's out in the patio. It is patio weather in Toronto, so it could be Toronto.
Ding, ding, ding.
Nice.
That looks pretty out there. You having fun?
Yes.
Is it great to be back?
Yeah, they're having Natalie's friends are having a party for her right now, and
I'm sure they're thrilled to see her.
Yes, you want to be on? This is her. This is the hostess with the mostest.
Hi, hostess.
They're saying hi. So yeah, they're having a party.
That's a cool.
And I was like,
indoor,
I need to turn the music off for 10 minutes just so I do a.
Thank them very much for that. I appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, Karen. So anyway, we got up here and we're fortunate we had smooth travels. I mean, not everyone's having smooth travels these days.
That's great. I'm glad. Yeah, because you had the kids and everything.
Actually, let me check and see what the stats are for. I mean, American Airlines had a terrible day yesterday. All the airlines had a terrible day on Thursday. And now
okay. You want to know what the winning word in the script spelling bee was?
Oh, yes.
I watched it.
Oh.
Then you know how to spell moorhen.
Actually, no. I saw
That's
just
actually easy.
clip.
That's not a hard word.
Moorhen?
Moorhen.
I don't know what it means.
I don't either.
You know how they do it. They go, what's the country of origin? It's English. Give me the definition again. A hen that lives on the moors. Oh. Moorhen. Moorhen.
Oh, I would have thought Moorehen.
Me too.
Can you use it in a sentence? I got more hen than Micah.
Did you watch it came off to like a spelling off. Did you see how fast they were going?
No, they move fast.
They had to do this one girl did 21 words, I think, in a minute.
90
Holy
seconds.
moly.
Wow.
90 seconds. It was insane. I was like, I didn't know what the word was. I would have gotten one. She got 21.
I know some of those words are so hard. So hard. But moorhen seems quite easy to me.
I'm like, when I was growing up, the spelling bee was like spaghetti.
Oh, I see.
They're doing words I can't even pronounce.
Do any of that. Say it in a sentence during the speed round. You just have to do it. They're going to go moorhen. Moorhen.
Yeah, that's it. It was like a FedEx commercial, the old one.
Oh, I want to see that. I'm going to watch that.
Actually, it's on my. If you look at my Twitter feed, I tweeted it early this morning.
Oh, nice. I had no idea you were a fan.
I love playing Scrabble.
Oh, so does Lisa.
I used to be.
She lives.
I haven't played in a while, but
friends.
I used to make some money playing Scrabble.
What?
Betting Scrabble?
You were a Scrabble hustler?
Well, I used to read the Scrabble dictionary, so I knew all the two-letter words.
Oh, so you would challenge?
No, I just I put words down there, be like, that's not a word. I'm like, yeah, it's a word.
I'll bet you $10 that's a word.
XI is a word.
XI, I know all the QI, XI. I know all the two-letter weird ones. Of course.
Yeah.
You have to.
So,
if you're playing Scrabble.
Totally.
QI is one of my favorite. Because if you get a Q and you don't have a U, you don't have a lot of choices.
Or QAT, that always gets people challenged.
Always good. Yep.
So.
Yep. I know all the Q by itself words.
Or Zax. I think it's ZAX. I haven't.
Zax?
Zax. It's a roofing tool.
Roofing tool. Of course. Hold on a second. Here we go. Of course it's a roofing tool. Oh, he's been everywhere, baby. He's Johnny Jet. He's breathing the mountain air out there. I don't know where he is. Hi, Johnny. Our traveling guy.
Hello, Leo and Micah.
Hello, Scott.
His name is Johnny.
Oh my God, what was I thinking? I'm reading an email from
I was
Scott.
looking behind me.
That's my fault for multitasking.
No. Hey, hello.
That's
you
right.
know he's Johnny.
I do know he's
Hello, Johnny Jet. How are you? You are in somewhere different.
I am. I'm in Toronto, Canada.
Oh.
Just came up on Wednesday with my family from New York.
Wow.
And flew out of LaGuardia's new Terminal B, which is one of my new favorite terminals. I never thought I would say LaGuardia is one of my favorite airports now, but
LaGuardia.
It really is.
I like LaGuardia because it's easy to get into town.
Totally. But I mean, they've done an amazing job with these terminals.
Which airline were you on?
We were on American, but Delta just came out with their new one 2 days ago. Actually, while we were there, all the media was there. I was like, why are they here? For the different terminal.
In LaGuardia?
Yes. So
Wow.
I think
I'm going to
sure
fly to
terminal- I think
LaGuardia
the
next
terminal-
time I go to New York. That sounds great.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll post some things on Instagram, but they have a fountain where they're doing all kind of digital stuff. It shows New York, shows taxis. It has a New York song. It's really great. I mean, flight attendants were stopping and recording it. That's how good it was.
Wow. So, Johnny, one of the things that I suppose we should talk about is that all these airlines are canceling. How many flights did Delta cancel last week? Like 1,000, right?
Well, I think it was combined like 2,400.
Jiminy.
All these airlines. So they're having problems. I mean, Delta announced last week that they were going to cancel 100 flights a day starting July 7th or July 1st till August 7th. And they're going to keep doing it. And now Americans having problems.
Can you
over
tell me
250
what flights you're going to cancel before I buy a ticket? If you know,
I would like that.
I don't understand.
But the thing is, if they do cancel your flight, you get a full refund. There's no ifs, ands, and buts. So don't let them try and give you a voucher. If they cancel it, you're entitled by law for a full refund. But yeah, right now, American has over 140 flights canceled today.
I don't want a refund. I want to go where I'm going.
But so the American's pilots are actually telling their other passengers to don't fly American. They're saying fly Delta or United, which is insane because they're saying that their execs are not treating them well.
Oh, is that why they're canceling flights? Are the pilots not showing up? Or
yeah, there's staffing issues. So
how much of this is COVID? How much of it is economic? Do we know?
I think part of it is COVID, but the major part is just every industry right now is having trouble finding workers, and airlines especially because they don't pay a lot, and no one wants to be trapped inside a metal tube with people who are misbehaving, and and most flight attendants don't get paid until they push back. Yeah, we talked about that last week.
Yeah.
But if you are going to
it doesn't strike me as a bad job. But I mean, that's the thing. It seems like it would be a good job.
Not as glamorous as it used to be.
Yeah, maybe
their
that's
layovers are a lot shorter.
Yeah.
There's long queues to go through security. Fortunately, flight crew can cut the line. But it's not just happening in the U.S., by the way. This is all over the world.
Now, how much? Somebody's asking in the chat room. How much does the cost of jet fuel impact this?
It's not a lot, actually.
Because gasoline's expensive, but they do futures, right, for their jet fuel?
They do some. They used to hedge, but they're not. I don't think many of them hedge anymore. Maybe Southwest, and Delta bought their own refinery like years ago. But that's not the problem. The only thing that jet fuel's doing is hurting the airline's bottom line. It's not really impacting fares as much because so many people want to get out, see their friends and family like we are now. And so they're flying. I mean, 2.3 million people went through security checkpoints yesterday. In 2019, it was 2.6.
Oh, we're
so
right
it's not as we're there, but they don't. But it's less flights and less staff, and it's creating chaos. And again, all over the world. Ireland. My buddy showed up to the airport in Ireland the other day in Dublin 3 hours early. His flight was at 6 a.m. He showed up at 3 a.m. and he showed a picture. It was a zoo. It took over an hour to check in. Yes. So,
yikes.
My advice, by the way, is we took the first flight out at LaGuardia the other day, and we had smooth travels. It was at 8:30. We missed traffic.
Which airline?
And there was no American, actually.
Okay.
And
I'm flying JetBlue to Boston end of the month. Do you think I should worry?
I wouldn't worry, but if you really need to be there, like 100% need to be there, book another flight on another airline 3 hours later. So that way, if JetBlue for some reason has some staffing issues or pilots or call in sick, you can at least go on United or American.
But what do I do? But then can I get out of that ticket if I don't need it?
Yeah, so make sure it's cancelable. Don't buy the. Well, you can get a refundable, and that's a lot more. But you can also just don't buy a basic economy fare, and that way, if you're on the plane, call up American or just get on their website and just or whatever airline you are and just cancel it before you take off, and 10 minutes before American's flights take off. Just know the airline's rules because everyone's different.
Some of them don't give you cash back; they give you credit.
They'll give you credit. They won't give you cash unless you buy refundable.
Okay.
Unless they cancel. If they cancel, they have to give it to you. But that's like basically a nuclear option if you really need to do it.
I don't have to be. My daughter and I are flying back to see my mom, so I guess I could go the next day. I mean, I have a hotel reservation, but I can cancel that, I guess. So.
Well, that's usually 2 days in advance, so you gotta.
Do hotels are they a little bit understanding if you say, "Hey, I can't help it"?
It all depends.
Yeah,
it all depends. Yeah. I mean, it depends if you have loyalty.
I have no loyalty. I am promiscuous.
There was one way around that, by the way.
What's
let's say if you can't do the hotel, you call them up and say, "Hey, I know I'm within the I'm not within the cancellation period. Can I book it for 2 weeks from now?" And then you can call up a week later and cancel it, which is kind of cheesy, but I mean, people do that.
Yeah. Well, that's a little trick. That's good to know. It's a little trick.
Yeah. So.
Wow. Boy, it's at the same time as we all want to get away for the summer, and for the first time in years, literally years, it's also a little nerve-wracking. So just be chill, be calm, be cool, be ready for anything.
And do I have a time to give one more quick tip?
Please, you have 2 minutes.
Okay, good. So I wrote a post today because a reader sent in saying, hey, they just made this mistake. They went on Google and they searched Charles de Gaulle hotels because they have a layover at Paris's CDG.
Right.
And, when you do a search like this, a lot of the ads show up, and they were on some website called reservation.com, according to this reader. And they were like, they held my money hostage. Never book it like that. If you're going to book, first of all, use a reputable site. So if you're going to book third party, use Expedia or Booking.com or Skyscanner or something that and then always check that hotel directly. So if you're booking this person was looking for the Marriott.
She didn't book directly with it was a Sheraton. She didn't book directly with a Sheraton. She did it with some third party. I've had that happen. I've had that happen where you get to the hotel and they say, "Oh, we don't honor that."
Well, they should, but there's a lot of scam sites out there too.
Right. But
always try and book direct. So, you can look at Expedia, find out what the cost is. If it's much cheaper, then book on Expedia. But if it's not, book direct, because that way you'll get your points, number one. You'll get free Wi-Fi usually. You'll get you'll get a better room. And if something happens you need to cancel, it's a lot easier to cancel through directly. Same thing with airlines and doing it through a third party.
This is actually a very good warning in general. When you search for something, be careful what you click in the results. Not all results are equal. Some are paid ads, some are bogus, some are charlatans. And, Google does its best to prevent that, but they are not 100% successful.
They're not.
It's true for searching for anything. Any malware software, Microsoft Windows updates. You got to be careful with those search results. Great advice.
I did that for I think I was looking at a hotel phone number, and I just did quickly. It gave me a number to some third-party 800 number. I thought it was a hotel. It wasted my time.
JohnnyJet.com. That's the website. There's an article there. There's lots of good stuff there. Sign up for his free newsletters and join him every week right here. Thank you, Johnny. Safe travels.
Hey, thank you.
Goodbye, Johnny.
Goodbye,
Johnny.
More
Take care, Lisa.
All right. Thank your wonderful family for allowing us time with you today. Appreciate it.
Well, listen, they love it when I'm on.
Aw.
It drives traffic to the website, and they get new shoes.
Daddy's needs new shoes. Yep, good. Maybe needs new shoes. Thank you, John. Have a great time. How long are you gonna be up there?
Just a month or so.
Just a month?
I'm kidding. We're going somewhere in between, but we're here for a while.
Good.
It's been 3 years. Here's my wife right here. Say hi.
Natalie. Hi, Natalie. I know you haven't been here in so long. Oh, it's so great to be back.
He said it's so great to be back in Canada.
Yeah, I miss Canada. I'll be moving there after November. I'm moving.
But by the way, my wife got flagged when we came in. First of all, if you're going to fly to Canada, come in the morning. We landed around 10:30.
Yeah.
We did not have any long queues like everyone's been talking about.
Good to know.
But she did get pulled for secondary.
She got an SSS?
She got a random. No, she got a random COVID test.
Oh, that's interesting.
So when we walked up, when
that's fine. I'll take a free COVID test anytime, except you got to wait. Yeah.
It took 8 minutes, and the next day we found out she's negative. A free PCR test. I was like, "It's a great thing." I wrote a post about it.
I'll sign up for that. Yeah.
Totally.
I was telling Micah, we've run through all our free tests almost because we do them all the time just to make sure.
Yeah, and if you do go to Canada, everyone has to download the ArriveCan app or website. I'll talk about it next week.
Okay. John, you're the best. Give my love to everybody. Have a wonderful time. All right.
See you, Mike.
Travels. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
You know that I love you.
Leo Laporte, Micah Sargent, your two tech guys on the radio.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. 88. You better get used to this. Say the number.
8888 Ask Leo.
Wow. And Micah. You could type it all out.
You can. Apparently that works.
8888 Ask Leo and Micah, which is, how's your translation?
Oh, golly.
888.
827?
Yeah, it's actually written on the phone here. I don't know either. I just read it off of that. So
827-5536.
Micah's going to be soloing in a month.
Yes.
And we want to get him prepared to host the show all by himself, July.
888.
And everybody, be nice. It's going to be Nice to Micah Day on July 16th and 23rd. Is that right?
I want to say yes.
You should say yes.
I will say yes because those are the days. Yes.
Right. I hope you get them right.
I'll be here.
I will not be here. I'm going to be on a cruise with our Twit fans. We're going on a cruise to Alaska, which seems a little crazy, but yeah, we're going to do that, and I think it'll be all right. I think we're done selling, but you go to cruise.twit.tv if you want to know more. And maybe we have some cabins left. Cruise.twit.tv. Those very nice people at Travel Store will tell you if we do. Ryan on the line from Denver, Colorado. Hello, Ryan.
Hi, it's actually a real honor to talk to you, Leo. I appreciate you taking my call.
I am honored to talk to you. Thank you.
I just wanted to say you're a huge inspiration to everything I do. I actually have been listening for a real long time and work in the TV studio for my school, trying to finish up a degree in that. And,
nice.
I tell all my customers at Best Buy, because I work there, I tell them all about your show and try and spread the word, but also hi to Micah, too. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hello.
We're all tech guys here.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I did have a question, though, when it came to trying to get... I've been starting out doing a YouTube channel, and I've been trying to figure out low-cost ways, you could say, to get backup for my video content, just because, files are huge these days. And I've been using a Mac Pro 3.1, a 2008 model with multiple hard drives in it and just backing up to that. But I feel like all the file protocols are too slow, and seeing if there was like a software alternative or something that you knew that would be better.
You want to save the originals before you upload them to YouTube? Is that it?
Yeah, I mean, it's just nice to have the full files, all the raw files.
Yeah, we do that. So with our podcasts, I call them, I don't know if I made this up or this is actually an industry term, the mezzanine files. These are the full quality, after editing, full quality versions of the shows we're going to put online, and we save those. That is not what we upload. In fact, when you upload to YouTube, you might upload the mezzanine file, but YouTube then, in fact, it's kind of amazing, will compress them all for a whole different variety of devices. They make I think, dozens of different versions. So, but you want to keep that high quality version. So if you had to re-upload it, for instance, you'd have the full quality to re-upload, and just for your own archival purposes. I'll tell you what Alex Lindsay does, because he does a lot of video. He buys cheap hard drives, and hard drives are cheap nowadays. You could just get the bare hard drive, get an enclosure, or they even have like little toasters where you stick a hard drive in it for your Mac, plug that into the back, USB's fine, and fill it up. Store it on that external hard drive. Then he wraps them in bubble wrap and sticks them in a closet. Now, a hard drive is going to last, if it's not used, it's going to last around 5 to 10 years, So if you want to keep it past that point, you're going to want to go through them. John, that's kind of what we do, right? We have all these hard drives. We don't do the bubble wrap. We have styrofoam containers. That's okay. That's good. That'll work too. Keep them in the kind of temperature-controlled area where it's dark, so that you don't have to worry about any kind of aging. And that's going to be archival for some time. CDs will last even longer. DVDs will last even longer. If you burn them to DVD, those will last about 15 years. But there's no medium that you could put it on, physical medium that you could put it on that'll last forever. So if you want to save it forever, that's when the cloud is your best friend. Because the cloud, if you have a cloud storage provider, it's their job to keep it up to date, to keep it backed up, to keep it in good shape. There's a fairly cheap one called Wasabi, WASABI. They're kind of like Amazon's S3 storage, but they have a flat fee model, so you don't have any surprises. And they have a cold storage solution that's kind of like Amazon's Glacier, which is similar. Glacier from Amazon is designed so that it's cheap to store, it's expensive to download it. And the presumption is, and slow, by the way, that's why they call it Glacier. The presumption is you're never going to need this, but if you did, at least you could get it. So
I've been paying for 4 terabytes of iCloud storage at the moment, which
too
is
expensive.
No, it's just
too. Wait, Apple is very expensive. So look at Amazon Glacier is one to look at, and Wasabi, WASABI.com. They were founded by a friend of mine. They used to be a sponsor, in fact, and they have a variety of ways of lowering their costs compared to Amazon. But Amazon's cheapest storage, which is Glacier, S3 Glacier, is pretty cheap. It's pennies,
How would that compare to using that Mac Pro of mine as a NAS?
That's another way to do it. And the nice thing about using a NAS is most of them will use RAID, which means you'll have multiple drives storing the data so that if one drive fails, you don't lose the data. If I'll put it all on one drive, then it's all dependent on that drive. So, NAS is not a bad... Yeah, you could take that Mac... I don't know what the NAS software is for Mac OS. There's free NAS for PCs, FREENAS. That's open source NAS software. Since you have the Mac, say again.
I guess I could always run it on a Windows operating system because it's still versatile.
Yeah, it's an Intel. Yeah, it's actually you wouldn't need Windows. It's a Linux. So it probably would work on the Mac, come to think of it. It's called TrueNAS now. I see. They've changed their name. Or no, they still offer FreeNAS. So FreeNAS, probably you could install that on that Intel Mac. You're right. It's a Linux. And so that's kind of the idea, is to turn an old PC into network-attached storage with redundancy. How many drive bays do you have on that old Mac?
I converted the CD drives. I have 6 4-terabyte drives.
Oh, perfect. So you could use RAID. You could use a high-level RAID to make sure that even if 2 drives fail, you wouldn't lose any data.
Now is how it's set up, but that's kind of where I hit the wall on what I knew I was doing versus going into experiment.
I would look at that. Remember that you're going to have to maintain it. You're going to have to keep it up to date. If there's a fire, it's all in one place versus a really cheap cloud storage like Amazon's Glacier. which, might cost you $10 a month or $20 a month, but you would never have to think about it.
Yeah, that's for sure.
What's your podcast or your YouTube going to be about?
It's called Robots Tech Room, and I've been building it.
Is it up yet?
I got a couple videos that I've already finished. I recently did a classic Mac unboxing in the TV studio. I'm a technician.
Oh, fun. Are you getting some of the students to help you?
Yeah, actually, I got a couple students I've tied in, and we're all now paid employees by the school. So
nice.
We've been getting the studio up and running, and it's nice to train them and have just.
I'll put a link up in the show notes for you. Leo Laporte, Micah Sargent, the tech guy. What is it? Robots Tech Room?
Yeah.
Robots.
It's robot with an apostrophe. Robots Tech.
Oh, it's like the robot owns it.
Yeah.
I see it.
Nickname.
I see it. We'll put a link in the show notes. We'll get you some subscribers. That's nice.
Wow, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Robots Tech Room. I love it.
Yeah, I've been trying to learn. I'm working on so many projects, like some documentaries and other stuff, and I've been doing that on the side, so just really busy in video production. And then someone recommended doing editing through DaVinci Resolve not too long ago, so I've been learning that too. And gosh, so much stuff you have to learn to really do this all on your own, and I'm sure you can relate to that, huh?
Yeah, I've forgotten all that stuff. Thank God I got John and Burke and a whole team to do this now. Russell.
That's cool. Yeah, no, it's really cool to talk to you. I've actually been, I keep Twit live on the TuneIn app on all the Google Homes in my house usually.
Oh, nice. You let us invade your life. That's awesome.
Well, I mean, it's content, and it's really, really, I follow everyone. I watch Rene Ritchie's stuff on
yeah, he's great.
Nebula and all those things. So,
oh, that's so nice.
You guys have really spread across the internet, and I think it's really good stuff.
Ryan, a pleasure meeting you. Thank you for calling.
Definitely. It's been really awesome to talk to you, and you'll probably hear from me again.
I hope so. I count on it.
Well, we'll talk to you later.
All right. Take care, Ryan.
Bye-bye, Ryan.
But first, a word from our sponsor. See, this is what Joanna told me to do. Speak in my throat. Project. Not too loud. The Tech Guy Podcast brought to you today by Acronis. Many's the years I've been recommending Acronis's image program, Acronis True Image. You probably heard me recommend that. It's the best imaging package out there. Well, Acronis realized that the reason people use True Image is to protect their data, and they realize there are other threats to data known as ransomware and cyber threats. So they have brought together two products to make Acronis Cyber Protect Home Office, keeping your digital world safe from all threats with the only cyber protection solution that delivers a unique integration of data protection and cybersecurity in one package. Acronis Cyber Protect Home Office, formerly Acronis True Image, works on everything you got: Windows, Mac, Android, iOS. Of course, imaging is great for quick backup and recovery. You'll never lose either your data or your applications. People are always saying, well, how do I preserve my applications? That's what this does. It preserves the whole operating system. You're basically making an image of your hard drive, which is fast to make and fast to restore. Also lets you search that image for individual files. So you can restore everything from your full system to just individual files. You can back up what you want and where you want, locally, of course, to other hard drives, internal hard drives. That's what we used to do on the screensavers. Every machine we built on the TV show would have two hard drives, one for running everything and a second for imaging. And we would, every time we changed anything, after every show, we would image it to the second drive. And that was because we were doing live TV, and if a computer crashed, we would only have a couple of minutes the commercial break to get it back up and running. It was how I set it up in the beginning, and it saved our butts many, many times. Thank you, Acronis. But there's something new. Wish we'd had this, Acronis Cloud. So now you can back up your image to the cloud, where it will be safe from everything. You can restore the entire system to the same computer or brand new hardware. You can even do direct, and this is great, cloud-to-cloud backups of your Microsoft 365 account, including your Outlook.com mailbox, your OneDrive. This is really a nice thing to have. And of course, yes, very, very good cybersecurity. It blocks attacks in real time before malware, ransomware, or cryptojackers can cause damage. It'll find any infections that are lurking on your system with flexible antivirus scans. And the reason that makes a lot of sense is when you're doing an image, you're backing up everything. You don't want to back up a virus. You don't want to back up malware. So it's really important to have that scanning capability to make sure you're not going to preserve something bad, right? So they go together, hand in hand. Plus, it's a lot easier to manage those two solutions instead of using diverse, incompatible solutions. One intuitive interface manages all your protection and all your imaging, all your backups. Plus, with Acronis' two-click setup and set and forget options, you'll spend less time worrying about maintenance and backups and more time doing the stuff you care about, knowing that your digital world is protected with their integrated protection. So, to reiterate, Acronis Cyber Protect Home Office. It's more than just a backup, more than just an antivirus. Peace of mind, that's what it means, knowing your devices and backup are protected. I love that. Your data is safe, accessible, private, authentic, and secure. Keep your digital world safe from all threats with the only cyber protection solution that delivers a unique integration of data protection and cybersecurity in one. Acronis Cyber Protect Home Office. You may know it as Acronis TrueImage back in the day, Acronis TrueImage. Visit go.acronis.com/techguy. So there's a go at the beginning there. So visit go.acronis.com/techguy. Make sure you put the tech guy in there so they know you saw it here. And thank you, Acronis, for making a great product. We've used that for years. And for supporting the Tech Guy Show with your advertising. Go.acronis.com/techguy. Now, back to the show. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy, 8888. Ask Leo the phone number. If you want to join Micah Sargent and I, your tech guys, join Micah Sargent and me. Very important not to use the subjective, but the objective.
I'm glad you pay attention to that.
I pay attention to that.
I feel like I'm the only person who does. So
between you and me, I pay attention to that. 8888, Ask Leo the number. Micah is a grammarian and an expert on all things, I would say. Certainly Mac and iOS.
Got both of the phones here today.
You got an Android. Which phone is that?
This is the Pixel 6.
I didn't know you had
Not the Pixel 6 Pro, but the Pixel 6.
Yeah. He turned me on to this really cool program, Camo.
Yes.
Really like it. I was, trying to find a way to do Zoom calls at home with a better camera than the camera that's on the laptop, especially on Apple devices. The cameras are terrible, but a lot of laptops have terrible cameras. And I borrowed cameras from work and stuff. They kept dying. I don't know why. Every time I borrowed a camera from work, it would die. And finally, I just got threw my hands up in the air. And you said, well, use your iPhone. I said, I wish I could. No, Camo. So you put Camo on your iPhone or Android phone, and then you run the Camo software on your Mac or your PC. They see each other, and the software then will put it into Zoom or Skype or Teams or whatever you use, and it works really well.
Yeah, I spoke to the developers who created the app, and one of the cool things that they do that a lot of other ones don't is they're using the built-in technology that Apple uses to make these devices show up in QuickTime. And so this is like the purest stream that you can get from the iPhone, where some third-party companies that have done this, where they're using like NDI and those sorts of technologies, it's a little bit
hacky way of getting the video
and
out.
Obscured. Yeah. So this is as pure pure as you can get.
It still looks a little beautified. You
It
know?
does,
Your
it
skin
does.
looks smoother than it really is and all that. I don't know if there's a...
I think that's the image signal processor.
It's what
in
the
iPhone.
iPhone's doing, I think. Yeah, isn't that interesting? Still, much better than most cameras. It's certainly better than any laptop camera I've used. 88, so thank you. Camo is not at camo.com. It's a weird... It's
Re-incubate, because they made software before they started making Camo for sort of backups and things like that to pull stuff out of your iPhone backup. And you go all the way back to BlackBerry. They were doing backup extraction.
Reincubate.com. We'll put a link in the show notes. TechGuyLabs.com. Let's go on with the calls. Micah, Jessica's on the line from Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Hello, Jessica.
Well, hello.
Welcome.
So I am calling to encourage you to not give up on your SodaStream. I have a solution for you. And
so we were talking at the very beginning of the show about, I love my SodaStream, but I buy the little bottles, right? And Mike and I both have decided they're too expensive. So we were going to buy a big carbon dioxide canister and fill up the little bottles, which seemed like a good idea until I couldn't find anybody to fill up the big bottles. So what's your solution, Jessica?
So I have the cylinders, and what I do is I get dry ice, break it up, and then I use an immersion blender and just put the dry ice in cylinders. And once you put the top back on, it compressurizes, or however you say it.
Yeah, because there's building up. That seems a pretty risky thing to do. Wait a minute. First of all, how do you open the cylinder?
It's pretty tough the first time.
So those screw open?
Mine does.
Oh, I didn't know. So the SodaStream cylinders, you can unscrew them. You put dry ice, which is just frozen carbon dioxide, in there. And what do you need the immersion blender for, to kind of break it up?
Yep, because the hole isn't the biggest.
Yeah.
So
just to get it small enough to put into the hole. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And then you fill it up. And do you fill it all the way to the top?
You're supposed to, or I guess you can measure it, but I just...
That's so dangerous. So you put it in there, and the dry ice sublimates. It turns from a frozen state to a gaseous state. And as it does that, of course, there's a lot of pressure building up because there's a lot more in the unfrozen state. There's a lot more volume. So it's pressurized, just like a CO2 container would be.
I know the newer bottles or the newer canisters have like an emergency relief valve.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea because I do not. Yeah. By the way, I am not recommending this. I don't want anybody to do this. Jessica, I love it that you do it, but I don't want to get sued by anybody, because if you did it wrong, you could blow up the canister. We used to, and again, I wouldn't recommend this, but when I was in college, we were talking earlier about how I think before you're 21, certainly as a young man, young women, I don't think they have this problem, but as a young man, there's a part of your brain that's missing. It's called the frontal lobe. It's the part of you that says, oh, that's a bad idea. Oh, don't do that. Young men like to take chances. We were talking earlier about my son's first viral video, which featured hoverboard jousting. My stepson's brush with death, Segway jousting with pieces of wood.
I was going to say, that's a bit of a pun. Brush with death.
Yeah. And when I was in college, now I never did this, but my roommates, there would be fire extinguishers on every floor of the dorm, and they were just pressurized water. They weren't fancy fire extinguishers. Oh, okay. So what they would do is open them up, because you could, I guess, and put in dry ice and more water, and then seal them up. And, I forgot to tell you the most important part. They would then tie a string around, or rubber bands around the trigger, and have the trigger be held open with a piece of wood or something, which was attached to a string. Then they would go put that fire extinguisher in downstairs, and then they would go up the stairs and tug on the string after a suitable amount of time, because the pressure's building up in that fire extinguisher. And man, the fun would ensue. Because the fire extinguisher would have highly pressurized liquid in there, much more than normal. and it would like a rocket ship. So it would spin around and go clunk and make lots of noise as it was in the stairwell.
Break things?
Well, it was in a stairwell. It probably chipped a few things. Nothing. Anyway, I don't recommend that. And Jessica, I thank you for the tip, but use it at your own risk. I don't want anybody to get hurt. It's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
Did you see that, Jessica? Did you see that on a YouTube video or something like that? Life Hacker?
Well, I had called air gas by me.
And they told you to do that?
Well, no, I had asked if they fill the bottles, and they had said no.
Oh.
The guy does paintballing, and that's what he does.
I see.
Yeah.
That's even more frightening. When you're paintballing, you might trip or something and hit that. Oh, boy.
Yeah, but see, that's why we were going to get the big canister, because the little canisters, that's not worth it. But if you had the big canister that you could then fill the little canisters with, for a few bucks, you could fill that big canister and fill the little. Anyway, we have a friend that does that, but we have yet to. Maybe Airgas.
I'm wondering if Airgas will fill the big one.
The big one.
Because their website suggests that it would. But
and then, by the way, somebody said that welding CO2 would actually be better quality because you don't want any impurities in your welds.
Any impurities at all, so.
Yeah. But anyway, we're not recommending any of this, and I wash my hands of the whole thing. But thank you, Jessica.
I wash my hands with CO2.
I appreciate it, Jessica. That's great. Thank you. Oh, she's. I hope I didn't make it.
Yeah.
I hope I didn't anger her. My fear is,
I don't. Oh
it's
no,
a litigious country.
Well, even if it wasn't a litigious country, no one wants to be responsible for having someone's hands get blown off.
Imagine, they're intended for holding high pressure, but if you exceeded their pressure, I'm glad they have release valves.
Yeah.
But if they didn't have a release valve and you exceeded the pressure or something went wrong, that metal canister blowing up would not be ideal.
No, even SodaStream tells you to replace the plastic bottles that you use once a year because those ones can blow up when they're just getting pressurized with the CO2.
Anyway, this has been fun. 88. Next, how to make a bomb. 88. No, we're not going to do that. 88.
Oh my God.
And Micah, Leo, it's your fault. I blame you. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. How did this happen? Leo Laporte, the tech guy. With Micah Sargent, the tech guy too. And your calls, Richard on the line at 8888 Ask Leo from West LA. Hello, Richard.
Hi, how are you, Leo?
We're great, thank you. How are you?
Well, I'm a little frustrated. I've set my Google password a few times, and about every 3, 4, 5 days it asks me to do it again.
That's annoying.
That's very annoying.
You mean change it or enter it?
Log in.
No, just put in the old one, and it works fine. And I get to my Gmail, no problem at all. Did it this morning.
So so what you're saying is every 5 or 6 days you have to type in your password again, even though you just logged in 5 or 6 days ago. This is actually a thing that annoys me as well because it always happens to me when I am recording on Tuesdays, iOS Today.
And you have to enter in your password. I'm in the middle
of the show, and it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're in the Google Sheet or whatever, it will have you retype in your password. So Google has a protection in place, as it sees it, to make sure that you are you and that you regularly type in your password to reconfirm that you are you. And you can change your security settings however you want to, because I've looked into this. It doesn't matter. Google just has, I think it's 5 to 7 days.
It's got a little timer.
It's just a little timer that's built in. And so the only way to change when that happens is by waiting to type in your password until later, which I cannot do because it is in the middle of one of my shows. So Richard, unfortunately, this is just a quote unquote safety feature that Google has that's making you have to type it in again and again. And from all the research I've done, there's no way to shorten or lengthen the time at which it resets and makes you type things in again.
And I would argue you kind of wanted to do that, Richard, because access to your mail is probably besides the bank, the second most important thing you want to protect. People get access to your mail They can go to other sites, including your bank, and say, oh, I forgot my password. Send me a new password or send me a password reset. And if they have access to your mail, then then they have the keys to the kingdom. The other thing, they can reset that password. Google sets the password using a cookie. All the sites that have passwords that remember that you've logged in before are doing that. They're using cookies. So when Facebook, same thing. When you log into Facebook, it sets a cookie that is a unique token for you. And when you go back to that page, it says, oh, let me see if that token's there. Oh, yeah, good. It's Richard's token. So we don't ask him for the password again. Now, you might be used to Facebook not asking for the password very often at all. Maybe not even yearly. I don't know. I haven't used Facebook in a while. But Google is trying to be a little bit more secure. But it will happen again if you clear cookies or if you don't. Do you have any anti-cookie software on your system or anything like that, Richard?
Not that I know of, no.
Okay.
But, you mentioned my bank. My bank never asks me to connect my password.
But do they ask you for a second factor or something? Or you just, when you go to the bank, it just opens up?
I go to the app, type in my ID, type in my old password, and it works.
Oh, yeah. But you do type in your password each time. So what are you saying? Google's asking you to change your password?
Haven't changed my password in a very long time.
Yeah, but I'm asking for Google. I mean, your bank asks you every time. Google only asks you once a week, right?
A little more frequently, but yes, roughly that, yes.
Okay. That's why your bank asks you every time. It wants to make sure it's secure. Are you getting a message from Google to change the password?
No, it just says we want, just what you said before. We want to make sure it's you.
Yeah. So the bank does it all the time.
Yeah.
So Google's doing it less because it's slightly less important to secure your email and your Google Access than it is your bank. So that's exactly
okay. Well, as long as it's normal,
it's completely normal.
I screwed up somewhere.
No. It's completely normal, and you want that. But you're right. Some sites, you may say, well, why is Google asking me weekly when Facebook hasn't asked me in months? Some sites don't take security as a priority. Google's pretty careful about security, I think. Google and Apple both, I think, are maybe a little more proactive about asking for passwords than I would like, but they do it because they want to keep you safe. So it's fine. It's normal, Richard.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Sure.
Yeah,
and then the second most important advice that I should always mention, turn on two-factor. You have that with Google. You have that with your bank. That's going to more than double your security. Why? Well, if your password gets out, let's say you use the same password on multiple sites. One of the sites is, the Marriott Hotel, which gets breached. Then the bad guys are going to try that password everywhere else, including your bank and Google. If it's the same password, they may get in. So a second factor, even if you don't reuse passwords, is really important. The second factor is another way of identifying who you are. So that's what a password is, right? It's something you know, and in theory, only you know. So that's one factor, something you know and only you know. Another factor might be something you have. Like I use, for instance, a key that I keep on my keychain. It's a little USB key. This is called a YubiKey. It's something I have when I go to particularly secure sites. I'll give it my password, and they'll say, okay, now put your key in the USB port and press the button. And that really proves it. Not only do I know my password, I'm the only one in theory who does, I'm the only one who owns this key. Another way to do that doesn't involve something on your keychain is with an authenticator on your phone or sending you a text message. I'm sure you've experienced that where the bank says, all right, you logged in, but I just sent a message to your phone. What's that 6-digit code? That's something you have, your phone. That's a second factor. It's possible to have three factors. Something you know, like a password, something you have, like your phone, or something you are, something biometric, like your fingerprint, your Face ID, your iris scan. If you combined all three, and some super secure places will, that pretty much guarantees you're not a bad guy, you're you. And the nice thing is it's pretty easy to turn on two-factor. Google will do it, your bank will do it, many sites will do it now. Twitter even does it. Turn on the two-factor. The first time you log in from a browser, it'll say, okay, what's that second factor? And sometimes you can do a text. It's better not to do text because your phone number can be spoofed. It's better to run a program like Authy, A-U-T-H-Y, or Google Authenticator or Microsoft Authenticator on your phone. It'll generate those one-time codes, those 6-digit codes. So if I log into Twitter on a new browser that I've never used before, I'd say, okay, that's the password, but what's your authenticator code? And I'll open up my phone, I'll open up Authy, and I'll look at Twitter, and it'll say 624133. I enter that in, it logs me in. Usually it only does that the first time you use a new browser. There's usually a checkbox that says, you want me to remember that? If you're on a browser at a library, of course you wouldn't want to. And whenever you use a new computer or a new browser, you'll have to do that again. That's a minor inconvenience that adds a major amount of security. So if you haven't turned on two-factor on your Google, please do yourself a favor, do that. There's one more thing to do to secure Google and many other accounts. If they ask for a backup email or a backup phone number, give them that. Because if everything else goes south, at least you can have them call you and verify you're you, and they'll let you back in. Leo Laporte and Micah Sargent, the tech guy. Yeah, MacFile, I should have bought SodaSense. A lot of people have told me SodaSense is better than SodaStream.
I heard that too.
But I didn't know.
At the time, I didn't know.
I gave the SodaStream to Lisa for Christmas. Taking a chance. She'd never asked for it, but she drinks Diet Pepsi. And I hate seeing those bottles, get thrown out. And we've been trying. We've done a pretty good job. Now we have compost recycling in Petaluma. So we're getting down there to very little waste, and we don't want those single-use plastics ever. Is Professor Laura playing this? Is this a request for...
I did request some golden oldies, yes.
That is a golden oldie. Who sings that, Laura? That's the Marvelettes. Oh, wow. That's awesome. That's going.
Did
that's
they sing
before
Mr.
my
Postman?
time.
Who sings
It sounds
Mr.
like
Postman?
Mr. Postman. It sounds exactly like Mr. Postman. I'm going to guess it came out about 3 months after Mr. Postman because the guy with the cigar in the record company said, "You need another hit, girls." Rob's on the line from San Pedro, California. Hi, Rob, Leo, and Micah, your tech guys.
Hey, Leo. It's an honor talking to you.
Well, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
I've been listening to you for probably since I was 10 years old, 12 years old. My dad loves your show.
Oh, nice. That's great.
I have a suggestion for you that's a little bit safer than shoving dry ice into SodaStream.
Thank you.
Okay.
Home brewing supply stores. They will fill it up with food-grade carbon dioxide for like $4 or $5.
Yeah, that's what my original thought was. And we live in beer land, USA. I mean, Lagunitas is around the corner. There are 4 or 5 breweries within a square mile of the studio.
Maybe brewery, but somebody who,
for home brewing, like a home brewing supply. I think there is one of those. I talked to our chief engineer, Russell, who's a great guy who makes his own beer, makes very good beer. And he said, yeah, they won't do it because they don't trust your canister. Do you do a canister exchange, Rob, with the brewing people, or?
No. My fiance goes to one local to here, and they get it. And actually, her sister does it, too. They get it filled up. They trust them.
Ah. Are they attractive young ladies?
I would say both of them are.
Yes, that's what I need.
Yeah, we got to find it.
Because if Mike or I go in there, they're going, no, buddy, get out of here. So maybe I'll have Lisa do it. She could sweet talk her way into that. I bet that's the trick.
Yeah, because I just looked at the closest one, and it says CO2 tank exchange, but nothing about filling.
Yeah, and I don't blame them. They don't know where this tank came from. They don't know if it's been tested. It's brand new from Amazon. I think that was my mistake. We'll just go over there. We'll say, but then you have to put a special SodaStream nozzle on it, right? Do you do this, Rob, or are you a brewer, home brewer?
I brew my own beer.
Nice. What do you brew?
Anything I'd like to try. My favorites, I made a really good milk stout last time.
Nice.
And,
I love milk stouts. Yeah.
Blue Moon Clone.
Wow.
And, yep. I was part of a brewing club in college. So
fun. Now, you got to keep the temperature just right? I mean, it's actually fairly technical.
Yes, it is. 100%.
Yeah.
Any little variation will throw everything off.
Well, there you go.
So, yep.
Yeah. I think Russell made a... the famous beer around here is the Russian River Brewing Company's Pliny the, I can't remember if it's the elder or the younger.
from Pliny the Younger.
Pliny, yeah. And Russell's made his Pliny clone that was pretty darn good. So,
okay.
Hey, nice. Thank you, Rob. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
I didn't know this show would become the quest.
I know. I love it.
For carbon dioxide.
We're going to figure it out. By golly, we will.
I'm driving around errands today, and I turn you on. And
thank you. I appreciate it, Rob. That's awesome. I really appreciate it. And thank you for listening all these since you were 10, huh?
Yep.
I don't even want to ask you how old you are now.
See, from San Pedro, California, he said 10 and not 10.
10. Thank you, Rob. I appreciate it. Thanks for listening all these years, and keep listening. I appreciate it. Thank you. The quest for CO2.
I was just looking if there were some laws or something in California that prohibited it.
Oh, maybe that's it. Maybe it's a California thing.
But I haven't seen anything. So,
well, as long as we're talking, Ryan also has a suggestion. Hi, Ryan. From Upland, California. I forget this tech guy thing. We're going to do a beer show from now on. What can we do for you, Ryan?
So I've been doing this a while, and I went the route of filling the large canister and buying the adapter where you can fill it.
That's what I got. That's what Steve Gibson,
method,
who's in Irvine, he says there's a guy in Irvine who'll do it for him.
Yeah, I have a place here. I'm in the machine shop business, and I have a welding supply place or any place like that sells food grade or welding grade, like all that type of stuff. You can fill these things for about it's like a scuba tank, and you fill it for $20.
Right.
Wow.
And that goes forever, right?
I fill 100 of those little canisters.
100 of them.
Get done with it. I mean, I'm guessing, but
so you're able to just walk in with your tank and say, "Hey, I would like to do a refill," and then they do the filling, or do you have to walk up to the tank and do it yourself? How does the process actually work?
So I went to the place, and they actually will sell you the large tank, and they will refill them. It's like a tank exchange.
That's what I should have done is go there and say, I'll buy a tank.
Them. Yeah.
And then
if you buy it from them, it's their product, and they will actually...
And they trust it.
Yeah, exactly. And then you just want... My wife does it. She just drives up to the place. She hands it to them. They give her a new one. It's like, I think it went up a little bit lately because...
And we bought on... I bought on Amazon because Steve told us to do this. There's a little adapter you put on the tank so that it can fill the SodaStream.
Yep, that's what
so
I
maybe
have.
You can return your tank.
It has a little pressure gauge. You can see how much gas you put in.
This is the ultimate cheapskates guide.
Yeah, it is, but those things are expensive, man.
And
they do add up if you use a SodaStream.
They're way overpriced, I think, is the big thing.
We use them all. We use it a lot. We use it every day, so it started getting pricey. I'm like, I got to find a better way for that. And the crushed ice thing, to me, I don't think you can put enough ice in those to actually create an issue. But it seemed a little.
That's a good point. You probably can't overpressurize it with.
No, I don't think you can.
No, that's a good point.
But no one try. We're not challenging anyone.
Just besides, you can burn yourself with dry. I mean, it's just not a.
Yeah, I know. That's like the last thing I want to say. Right?
Well, it's not too far off from something that a lot of people do, which is refilling their ink cartridges. And for years, companies tried to get on this show saying, "Hey, we sell these refill kits," and I said, "No, I just don't want people."
It didn't work very good for a long time.
Yeah, and you get all inky, and it's like I understand inkjet cartridges are overpriced, but boy, that seems like I've tried it in the
past, and sometimes they won't even work because of the little chips that are inside of the ink cartridge. So it's not a great thing.
They never worked for me. I always had a problem with them.
There you go. So I was right to refuse their advertising.
Indeed.
Yeah.
But I did take Epson's EcoTank because that was a good idea, right? And then you just have one.
Good segue, Leo. Good segue.
Yeah, if only they were still advertisers, I'd be happy. Thank you, Ryan.
All right, buddy.
You too. Take care. I think we should change. Maybe
I was going to say we really hit the nail.
I'm just thinking the show. We got to stop doing the computer stuff.
Who needs chips?
But what should it be? Should it be the Life Hack Show?
Maybe that's what it is.
A good friend of mine, Gina Trapani, started Lifehacker.com.
Wait, that was her. Wow.
Yeah, many moons ago.
First site I went to on the web.
Is it still around? It is. Lifehacker. Do everything better. It's been sold a couple of times. Gizmodo owned it. Oh, I guess they still do own it. Now I see that there are a lot of other sites associated. So maybe some big website conglomerate owns it. But yeah.
Sort of a maker / hack.
It was all this stuff.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I love life hacks. Maybe that's the next show. We'll do a life hack show.
That could be fun, actually.
Yeah. Mike and I are always looking for other shows to do. So, in our Discord chat, a lady in Montana says, I go through about a SodaStream canister a month by myself. That's not too bad. It wouldn't be worth probably.
I've stopped using mine because I don't have any CO2 and I don't want to buy it from.
But you have a giant tank under your table.
A giant empty tank that no one trusts. They look at that, they say, get out of here.
It's so shiny and new, though. She says, instead, I just started brewing kombucha.
Wow.
That's another thing I wanted to do.
What is it? The Coley?
The mother.
The mother. But there's another.
No, there's another name for that. There's an acronym for that.
Kombucha mother.
It's
the SCOBY.
SCOBY.
Symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast.
See, I don't think I want to grow that in my house.
I don't want a SCOBY in my house.
Lisa won't let me do it. She said no.
I feel like it'll be funky.
Nope, not going to do it.
You already did your bread. Your bread SCOBY.
Hey, guess who's coming up? Dick Debartolo, the GizWiz. He'll probably have a life hack or two for us, or at least
something we should buy.
Silly gizmo or gadget coming up next on The Tech Guy.
SCOBY-DOBY.
SCOBY. I really want to make kombucha. But so Lisa is not a fan of fermentation.
I made root beer that way one time.
Oh, it'd be delicious.
When I was in...
I'd love to do that.
It was a Christmas present one year long ago.
What a good idea. You do that again for Christmas.
It was fun, but it was... the problem is it's... For me now, I don't eat or drink anything that has added sugar, and so I would have to make it for other people.
Doesn't the sugar get consumed? I guess you wouldn't want sugar-free root beer. Yeah.
So
kombucha's not very sweet usually. There's probably still some sugar in it.
Still added sugar, yeah. But
do you make kombucha, Dick, in Disneyland?
We're making it right now.
How many SCOBYs do you have? Actually, what's the plural of SCOBY?
I don't mean in your refrigerator.
I was just filling my SodaStream from my scuba tank.
There you go. There you go. It's time. He's dancing in. I love it. Dick Debartolo. He's got his satin shirt on, his tight white pants, his platform shoes, and of course, he's got that little necklace with the little cornu on it. It's Disco Dick Debartolo, Mad's maddest writer in the GizWiz. He joins us every week to talk about disco, Mad Magazine, the match game, but most importantly, gizmos and gadgets. Hello, Dickie D.
Leo, how you doing?
I'm great. How are things in Disneyland? Are you getting spring-like weather in Manhattan?
We are. Finally. Today is a beautiful day, and which is why I have started seeking out fun gadgets to help keep you cool. And I have two very neat pocket fans. And when I first read about this, I thought, how could a fan fold up and fit in your pocket?
Folding pocket fan? What will they think of next?
Well, more than that.
Yes.
More than that. I have two of them. This is a 3-in-1. So the pocket fan, the first one, has a 4,800 milliamp battery.
Wow.
So it has charging
That's
out
more than
in case
my phone.
Yes, in case you need help.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
Okay.
It's like a battery pack.
It has a built-in flashlight, and then it has like two blades that sort of hang down.
Oh, there it is.
But when you turn the fan
it looks
on,
droopy, but then it wakes up.
Yes, and what's neat about it is if you accidentally touch it, it just stops.
It droops again.
Nice.
It droops back. But wait, there's more. It has a built-in flashlight.
Story of my life.
Turned the flashlight on without opening the cover, and I realized it can be used as a task light also.
Wait a minute. No.
When you're working on your car, you can cool off and have the light.
And have a light.
And have a light. Or if you fold the cover all the way over,
wait a minute.
It becomes
but wait,
a
there's
flashlight.
more. It's 8-in-1. How much is this amazing miracle device?
You know what? It is. I'm looking. Let me just see, because the price keeps changing. I think it's under $15.
I feel like when you recommend it on the show, that immediately goes up.
It does go up.
It does.
It's 16. It's $16.
The Amazon people know.
Made by Jesus Life.
No.
It's
Jizu Life.
Yeah, Jizu. It is the most bizarre.
It's some Chinese company.
Name
they try to come up with an American name, and they fail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that's only one.
What? There's more. Wait, there's more.
The other I bought only because I thought, how could that be? It has the same kind of fan that you put it in your pocket. The blades are droopy until you turn it on.
Yes.
This one has a mister.
That's what you need.
That's exactly what you need.
Because if you spray yourself with
Condensation
water,
property.
and then what is it called?
The condensation property.
Wow, that's the way to be cool.
Yes. So this, it can just mist straight on, or if you put it on with the fan, it's very clever. It does 3 seconds of misting and then stops and then does another 3 seconds of misting. That way you can get an hour to an hour and a half out of the little tank that's in here.
Is it noticeably cooler than the plain old air fan?
You know what? If you hold it, if you hold it close, it's great.
Because you got to get the mist on you for it to...
Yeah, exactly. It's like in an air-conditioned
You could
room.
just spritz yourself and then use
You have two devices.
Yeah, but then you have two things.
Yeah, I like this. It's all built in. This is made by Hun Hey.
Hun,
Yes.
hey.
Hun, hey. It should be the other. It should be the other way around.
Yeah,
It should
hey,
be,
Hun.
hey, Hun.
Hey, Hun.
Hey, Hun. You got the mister for me?
I have a theory
Comes
that
in
all of
green,
these,
yum.
all of this stuff that you see on Amazon and Alibaba and everything, it's all made by the same company in China, and they have some poor guy, stuck in a room, and they say in Chinese, come up with 23 American-sounding names, and he doesn't speak English, so this is what you get.
Yeah.
Well,
Chad had a good, our friend Chad Johnson.
Yeah.
He said that when they come up with a new product, they sit in front of the computer and they slam their head into the keyboard.
Smash the keys.
And that's the name. There you go. Okay.
I'm going to put carbonated water into the misted pocket fan.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Now, I think,
Wow.
Dick, I don't know, you might have missed this show because it's been going on for 3 hours, but this has been the SodaStream show. You were the first person to ever tell me about a SodaStream, I think. You still use yours?
Well, yes. Well, the thing is, here in the city, believe it or not, Zabar's upstairs is a big appliance place.
Oh.
And you bring in
They'll exchange it.
They exchange. It's $15. You drop it off, and the new one's $15.
For a few dollars more, you could get a 70-pound canister
That lasts for like
of
a year.
CO2 that would last you all year.
Yeah, and then I'll have to rent another apartment. I don't have any room for it.
That's a good point. It is New York City, after all. If you want,
I could either have that or a refrigerator.
Well, you've got your misting fan now, so you don't really need a
you don't need
refrigerator.
anything else.
You just run
You're
that
set.
on
You
your
got it
your turkey and your
Dick's website. What are you eating from Zabar's right now? You're eating a
key lime tart.
Oh man, I'm so jealous.
With graham cracker crust.
Oh gosh. Gizwiz.biz is the website. GIZWIZ.biz. He is the Gizmo Wizard, or the Gizwiz for short. If you click the button that says the Gizwiz visits the tech guy, you'll find all of the little products he's mentioned on the show over the years. While you're there, you might want to click the button that says, what the heck is it? Because that's the What the Heck Is It contest. A chance to win an autographed copy of Mad Magazine. You have to the end of the month to identify this blob. If you do so correctly, there are, for the correct answers, 6 autographed Mad Magazines. For the best cute wrong answers, there are 12. So do the math and pick a cute wrong answer. And all you have to do, just go to the website. All the rules are there, and then just follow those rules there. That'll be a lot of fun. Do we know yet what Mad we're playing for, Dick, or is that?
Yes, we're playing for the. Actually, it'll be out, I think, next Wednesday, so I can show it probably next weekend.
Oh, good. All right.
And you'll be getting yours shortly.
I have the last month's What the Heck Is It contest, Mad Magazine with The Rock on the cover. Thank you, Dicky Dar. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. How long have we been working together? I'll get your name right one of these years.
2006 we started.
Wow, 16 years together. Dick also does a great podcast with Chad Johnson, the aforementioned Chad Johnson. It's gizwiz.tv. If you love silly gadgets, it's loaded with silly stuff. Thank you, Dickie D.
Okay, buddy.
It.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Micah Sargent. We're going to start this new life hacks show next week. Forget technology, forget computers. Who
Hack
needs
your
it?
life.
Monday, Apple makes some announcements. Mike and I will we do our little kibitzing thing. We'll sit in our studio, play the Apple thing, and we'll talk about it. What do you think? You think there'll be something exciting new? You said you're excited about iOS 16 and
I am.
Mac OS 13 and all that.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what they do with the lock screen. That's apparently getting an update.
Oh.
Lots of fun stuff for the
We've
lock
gotten to
screen.
that point now in smartphones where there's nothing really...
nothing hardware to do.
Yeah.
But software.
They're already perfect. So, we're going to change the lock screen? Ooh, how exciting. I'm hoping for some new Macs, but we shall find out. Thank you all for joining us. Thanks to Professor Laura, our musical director. She played some good stuff.
Beautiful work today.
Your requests, many of them.
Thank you.
Thanks also to Kim Schaffer, our phone angel. She answers the call. But most of all, thanks to you, those of you who put up with us every week.
Bless your hearts.
Bless your hearts. Thanks for everybody who called in and everybody who listens. Thanks to you, Micah. We will see you next Saturday, I hope.
Yes.
We're preparing Micah for his solo.
My Han solo.
He's going to be soloing July 16th and 23rd.
You've got the dates.
Yes, I'm very excited. Have a great geek week, everybody, and we will see you next time on The Tech Guy Show.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Well, that's it for The Tech Guy Show for today. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, TWIT, T-W-I-T. It stands for This Week in Tech, and you'll find it at twit.tv, including the podcasts for this show. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on Mac Break Weekly, iPads, iPhones, Apple Watches on iOS Today, security on Security Now. I mean, I can go on and on and on. And, of course, the big show every Sunday afternoon, This Week in Tech. You'll find it all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next week with another great Tech Guys show. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.